Names, I'm back with my agenda. Never follow rules, I want my funeral magenta. Just to piss off all my fucking homophobic relatives. Growing more imperative that I control my narratives. So I spit fire through this pop filter. La la, you got to have the Zaza for me to shop with you. Raising my rates and I'll control fates. But if you fuck with me, I bring your fucking life to a stop quicker. I'm in your throat like some hot liquor. Roll through your hood like a drop shipper. Hands like a stock filter. I think if I was straight, then maybe I would pop quicker. Playing the lotto, I'm on the reposado. Can't be in my vicinity if you possessing maybes. Or fragile masculinity like Boosie tip a baby. It's crazy cause the very clothes you wearing was designed by the same group of people used to trying to keep behind. You ain't worried about the kids, you just use them as a shield to hide behind the bigotry of how you really feel. Ain't no think pieces in emails as long as it's some females that's kissing in the backseat. And you can check my rap sheet. I'm running circles around these washed up rappers like a track meet. Been flexing like an athlete. I'm jigging to the backbeat. Work selling in the trap meet. And my niggas back heat. Suggest to keep it cool before they bust and make your hat leak. And I ain't even really scratched the surface. Defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is like a clown without a circus. That's Dames, he go crazy on the mics and shit. Rolling blunts super straight on the pipes and shit. Fat ass with the fucking tiger stripes and shit. I get faded, grab my pen and then I write some shit about this crazy world we living in. My homies steady giving in, the doors steady kicking in. I never care about fitting in. No whipping the E-class, that motherfucker speed fast. I caught me a peach pass and reach for my weed stash. All sports teams, but I'm ballin', nigga. Better have a money move if you callin', nigga. It's my time to shine and you know I'm stallin', nigga. Dames going up, make that shit appallin', nigga. And I ain't even really in my prime yet. But I just been grinding like the time said. Mindset, I'm the fucking money, not a bitch though. I can tell you broke, but I ain't never been a stitch though. Came up on cassettes and CDs on the block. I don't smoke no cigarettes, but the trees stay in stock. It's the DAM to the IEN. And if I stand out, nigga, why be in? It's motherfuck the cops and motherfuck the ops. My niggas got good credit, we talking trades and stocks. I'ma always keep it real, that's what I get from my pops. They'll give me a fucking bullet before they give me my props. I got this war in my mind, I don't know who winning. All this Patron in my body and my head keeps spinning. Yo, how I'ma get to heaven? I mean, if I keep sinning, I swear life would drive you crazy, man. Just keep living. I ain't even really scratched the surface. Defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is like a clown without a circus. Dames, and I ain't even really scratched the surface. No, defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is just a clown without a circus. Dames. Hip-hop. This rap shit. Just in me.
I took a hit for the team, took a bullet for the dream that we would one day all be free from prejudice, free from sexism, free from bigotry. I die for creativity, I die for freedom to be free. I died and left a legacy. Oh, but baby, I still live through technology. The sun will start shining. Black is the pain, and tears the pain, and tears the pain, and just be patient. Your destiny will manifest. Yes, Bubzz.
You live in a different world.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Everyone, hello, hello, hello. I hope that you all are having a wonderful Saturday evening. Shout out to King Deshaun and Queen Stevie in the building, y'all. I am excited, at the same time nervous to hear this story because, again, this is going to center around queerphobia. As the title reads, queer voices. First of all, I'm just grateful that there are people who trust me enough to want to share their truth on my platform. You know what I mean? Because I'm growing in my advocacy, in my activism, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay? So the fact that these opportunities are presented to me, I want to make sure I take the most care that I can with these conversations because again, queer people have to show their burden of proof. Once again, another story that's adding onto the overwhelming amount of other stories and experiences of queer people that a lot of heterosexual people, unfortunately, through fear and ignorance, continue to ignore, because if they were to actually acknowledge it, that means that they will have to be accountable. And we throw this word accountable out. Well, I'm glad that we all know what accountability was in reference to the term and definition and different expressions in the way that we see it in 2023, because in 2024, it's going to be time to get the fuck up and walk all that shit out. And some of y'all niggas' knees and shit is like motherfucking Rice Krispie treats, bitch. Almost getting ready to snap, crackle, and pop. Okay? So I suggest that before 2024 comes in, don't just go to the gym mentally, girl. Go to the gym mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because 2024 is going to try all of us. Okay? And I'm short, so my damn knees and shit don't have to go through the same shit a lot of taller people do. See how God work. But anyway, before we get into tonight's live, okay? And we just have to do this all the time, and I'm never fully ready for this. But anyway, here we go. Boom. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, because we love everybody, okay? I would like to introduce to the platform BoyCr8z'z. BoyCr8z'z, how are you doing on this Saturday evening? How are you feeling?
Hey Bubz, I'm doing very good. A little slight under the weather, but I'm gonna get through it. But I do appreciate this opportunity. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you. No problem. Like I said, it's a joy and a pleasure to be able to bring or be service to my community, and I'm doing pretty well. Again, I just hope that this conversation, or shall I say this story, I hope it touches people, but I also hope that for the individuals who don't believe in queerphobia, who think that it's just a old emotional baggage that queer people just carry into their present moment, it's like, no, this has happened to us, and it's still happening to us, and we're trying to educate y'all so that we can lessen those experiences. So the fact that you're willing to come up here and just share your story, I really do appreciate it. Even with you being under the weather, that shows how much you're dedicated to getting the story out. So I really appreciate you. So thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess how we get into it. So I guess to share with everyone, what inspired you to want to contact me to say, hey Bubz, I kind of want to share my story on your platform? Like what motivated that?
Well, one of the things that motivated me is I know your work. You have a great line of work. You are very open-minded, and you are very fair when it comes down to conversation. And I just thought that it'd just be a really good platform. I've been following you or been subscribed to you for about some years, a lot of years,
awesome.
Honestly. I remember when you would be recording yourself, and I'd be seeing you. talk.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I
Yes.
think
Yes.
probably like college days for me, like 2017, something like that in that
17,
area.
18. Yeah.
Right, in
Mm-hmm.
that
Okay.
area.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, I guess I'll just get straight into it.
Yes. The floor is yours.
All right, so back in 20, well, I'm probably going to give you a backstory on who I am.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So my backstory on who I am. My first name is Michael.
Okay.
For a lot of people that don't really know who I am, and I was not raised by my biological parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually a product of adoption,
Okay.
and so I have just a lot that's going on in that area as far as me not being raised by them. That's a trauma,
Okay.
a childhood trauma, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I just grew up gay. I just grew up noticing that I was different from a lot of kids, a lot of boys in particular.
Mm-hmm.
They would go ahead, tease me, call me every type of, expletive. You can,
Derogatory slur. Yep.
right, you
Mm-hmm.
could imagine. And that's how I knew I was different, and so I'm very, I've been doing well in school. One of my struggles was me to overcome this type of, image that, people saw in me. And one of the things that I honestly did in order to overcome that, that stigma of, oh, okay, yeah, you're just a fag. Oh, okay, you're just this or you're just that, was to be smart, to go ahead and to do well in school. And I've done so well in school to the point where I hold a master's degree.
Come on now. Come on, masters.
So yeah,
That's awesome. That's
yes,
awesome. And I also want to just put a pin in that real quick, like, because I do want to dig off in the conversation because there's a few things that you said, and I'm starting to write some of my notes down because even though we're going to talk about your story, I still want to talk about the healing aspects, which I feel like is very important.
right.
So the fact that you were able to share how you were able to just be smart and stuff like that, but also, I mean, statistically speaking, queer people, Black queer men, a lot of us, statistically speaking, have to work twice as hard, like you just said. You, in order to beat the stigma, I had to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's this energy of like over excellence that a lot of queer people, especially Black queer people, have to do in order to somewhat make it or fit in. You get what I'm saying? So I just wanted to point that out. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with that point. And ever since then, I've been doing, very good education wise. A lot of people been respecting me more since they seen that, that part of me.
Yeah, the credentials and everything. Yeah.
Right. They I was no longer, the gay boy. I was, that's Michael, the smart boy.
Who happens to be gay? How wonderful.
Right. Oh, right. So, the thing about it is, I never really came out until about 2012.
Okay.
And I was honestly forced out. So it wasn't okay. I wanted to do it on my own. It was,
if you don't mind,
right.
If you don't mind, if you feel comfortable enough, would you mind sharing with us at least like a synopsis or like, a summary of like how that happened? You being forced out the closet, yeah.
Well, I was dealing with this dude, and I remember I was supposed to go over to his place. We were supposed to just have a movie night, nothing too big. And I just remember, I was 19 years old. I was still living in my aunties, and all that. And I just remember, as I'm getting, I was not a person that went out. I would always stay in the house, like I would always just, because I didn't have any friend interaction. I didn't have any of that.
So you were pretty much like introverted in a sense.
Right. No,
that's
I
kind of
was
like how I grew up as well, and kind of like how I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And I just remember, she asking me, "Oh, where you getting ready to go?" And I'm like, "I'm getting ready to go over with friends." And she was like, "Oh, what type of?" She was like, "With friends? What friend are you talking about?"
Why you in my business?
Right.
At
Age 19, that's what I was like, okay, but she's overprotective.
Understandable.
I've been with her for almost all my life.
Right. Understandable.
So,
right.
But the moral of the story from that is just that she just caught me. Because I just pretty much told her. She was like, "What friend is this? Is this not a female friend?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is a male friend." And then she was like, "You got something you got to tell me?" And then I just said it. Wow. And then she was like, "Yeah." "I'm gonna have to pray. I'm gonna have to pray on this."
But I wonder how she was able to just get to that point. Like,
right.
Why couldn't she also just accept the fact, like, oh, he finally has friends and he has male friends, so that's dope. I just wonder what made her automatically go to the sexual aspect of it. Was it like the timing that you were going over there? Was it
yeah. It was night. It was night. It was like late, not late
like
night,
close to midnight.
No, right. It was close to it. Right. So about like 9-ish, 10-ish, 11-ish.
Okay, I got you.
Something like that.
Yeah, like around this time, you would think you would go see your girl. You know what I'm saying? I got you.
Right.
Got you. Okay.
So, and she ended up telling me, "No, I can't go." And she was like, "If you go, you ain't got no place to stay no more." I was like, "Nope." I was like, "Yep, excuse me, dude. Yeah, this ain't gonna work. I'm staying in here." Like,
so how did that make you feel, like, when she just flat out told you that? Not like, it's one thing she said, "I gotta pray about this," because again, like, it's a reality that she gonna have to, like, also deal with.
Right.
Because it's like, someone that you're a guardian of, or that you're, taking care of.
Right.
Because they're queer now, it's all these stigmas, so it's like also a fear there. So like when she just flat out told you no, if you go over there, like, with such extreme, like kicking me out, it's like, damn, like, I can't even breathe. You talking, I just came out and now you automatically threatening me with kicking me out. So like, how did you deal with that in that moment?
Right. So it wasn't so much that, she was threatening to kick me out because, I was gay, but it was more so that, if I would have left over to the guy's house,
if you would have acted on the gayness.
Right. Well, right. So, right. But that's the thing about it. It could have been anywhere, and she would have still had that same, that same feeling. She's not homophobic at all.
But can you admit the fact that, or see it as the fact that maybe because there are some people who I feel like who are not innately homophobic. They're just afraid of what can happen to you. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I feel like homophobia is more so of like what people are going to more so think about me, as opposed to like, oh my God, my child's life could possibly be in danger because of the limited information that I know. So like, was she even willing to like educate herself about queerness over the years to kind of like understand it more?
Well, she's part of almost close to the baby boomer age. So you know how that is.
So it's kind of like, I'm kind of just gonna believe what I'm gonna believe. Got you.
Right. But she's taking it in doses.
Understandable.
She can only take it in doses. And I'm okay with that. At least she can take it in doses.
Yeah,
a lot of people can't even do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at least she's able to. Even though it's slowly but surely, we still getting to the short part. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So how was it like when, like, going forward after that experience, like, how was it in the household? Like, was it anything that was queer? Like, if you were on the phone, who you talking to? Or if you know what I'm saying?
No. Okay. It wasn't like, she didn't delve in any part of my life, such as in that realm. No.
Okay.
She didn't.
Understandable.
Yeah, she didn't care about it. I've been just doing me. So, she already aware of it.
Mhm.
And, she says that, she, loves me. I'm still the best. Um, and, she tells me a lot of great positive things.
That's good.
She doesn't go and, come at me with, homophobic expletives and slurs. And she don't do all of that.
Good, good. And
She's
I'm
really
happy.
supportive.
Yeah, and that's what I
Yeah.
also want to highlight too,
Like,
because like even with my parents, especially my father, had more of kind of like in the beginning a fear-based narrative because he was in organized religion. Of course, he's a black man, so this
right.
black, your son is gay. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind
Right.
of like, but he was able to still work through the fear to be able to still say like, hey, that's still my son, that's still my child, and
Right.
I still have to evolve in my growth for love. So the fact that she was able to do that for you, even though it was scary in the beginning, probably for her, and maybe even for you, because it's like, it's damn, I just came out the closet, you know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that your experience wasn't like, unfortunately, like how a lot of other queer people's experiences have been or still are with their parents or guardians or people close to them that they love. So kudos to her being able
Y-
to still work through it and still affirm you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm blessed. I definitely can say that.
Okay. So now that we got a little bit of like a background on you as far as, your upbringing and stuff like that, as y'all can see on the screen, y'all see that somebody's saluting. What did they say in the army? What did they say? I have a brain fart right now as far as what they say in the army. Salute or whatever the case may be. Shout out to y'all and thank you for your services.
Thank you.
But how was your experience in the military? Like, how was that?
Um, so I'm gonna give y'all a backstory
Yes.
on how I got to that point.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so 2019 December, I earned my master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
2020, we were like on the brink of COVID. That's when
Yep.
COVID, that year, that's when COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember everything, pretty much being shut down, us being quarantined, people acting a fool at the grocery stores with this tissue,
Hell yeah.
things of that nature. But um, it just was something that I was dealing with personally with my family,
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't feel as connected with them. And I felt like I wanted to escape.
Okay.
Because I felt like I had like a little, bit of mistreatment coming from them. Um,
Mm.
um, but the thing about it is, it has not been cleared up yet. We haven't even talked about it. It's one of those topics that has been wiped under the rug,
Mm-hmm.
and has never gotten addressed properly. So I
Right.
don't think I'll ever find out. But that was one of the reasons why I did decide to join the military, because I was pretty much trying to just get away,
Mm-hmm.
from a toxic environment, what
Right.
I felt was toxic,
Right.
you know. And I just remember just going up to the recruiting office, because in my area, we have a recruiting office.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went there one day, and they just told me the steps and told me the process. I took the ASVAB,
Mm-hmm.
which was that, the aptitude test.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up scoring, I think, like a 50 something. It wasn't that good, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that bad either,
Right.
because you got to understand, I was not fresh out of high school.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So,
Right.
but, I didn't know that there were prep books and all that to help you with that. So, I just kind of winged it, really.
Mm-hmm.
That I do regret, kind of, but I've learned. It's not so much that I regret it; it's so much that's a lesson learned.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so
That's a
I
good way of
went
looking at
to
it.
I went to the recruiting office. Ended up, after I took the test and I got my results, went to the recruiting office. The recruiter that I was assigned, or who had took me in, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much had like a list of bogus, pretty much like jobs that are unpopular,
Mm-hmm.
jobs that don't nobody really want. And I didn't do my due diligence and asking, like, okay, can I do something that I got my degree in?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't do my due diligence because I didn't know that I can do that. And what ended up happening was they pretty much, my recruiter pretty much okie doked me
Wow.
into going into an MOS that I was not going to like, and I trust my recruiter, I didn't know, I'm like, you already are in the military, you know how it is.
Right. You
I'm
need to
like,
be
hey,
some sort of
I guess I gotta
structure or
trust
something there, like, they're going to take care of you or at
you.
least like
Right,
inform you the best
right,
to their ability. Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So the branch that I joined was the Army.
Okay.
Just let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
And after, once I joined, or once I enlisted, and once I picked my MOS. So I didn't my MOS. So MOS is a military occupation specialty.
Okay.
So that's the job that you are set forth to do. So first you become a soldier, then you become a whatever your specialty is. So
Do you get to choose your specialty, or is the specialty chosen for you, or
yeah,
is there a test that? Oh, you do. Okay, I
right,
got you.
right. So yes, you get to choose between from a list of
Okay.
choices that is set forth for you.
Okay, I got you.
In the Army, there are two routes. There is the enlisted route,
Mm-hmm.
and there is the officer route.
Okay.
I could have went officer, but I didn't want to go officer because I'm like, I'm in the military. This is brand new. This is spanking brand new to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to learn the basics first
Exactly.
before, I just
You try
don't
to
want to just hop and jump,
advance. Yeah.
because that 9 times 10 can backfire on me.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So that's was my my mental process on that. And I just remember just going and well, she was getting ready to pick she was asking me, what did I want to choose from? I think it was infantry, which is about being on the front line shooting.
Mm-hmm.
The other was to be a cook. I'm like, I don't want to be a cook.
Okay.
I heard a lot of bad things about that. Then it was to be working with cannons. So that was pretty much what I was interested. I kind of had lended an interest, but I didn't really know.
Mm-hmm.
So what she ended up doing is she ended up calling somebody who I don't know if they were in that field or not, but she ended up calling somebody. Yeah, I got somebody who's interested in working with the cannons. Can you please tell this recruitee what like just explain to him what is going on, like what.
Yeah, like give him a breakdown
Right,
basically
right, right,
of
right, right.
what it entails. Yeah.
So the person on the other end told me, was like, hey, if you like fireworks, you like things going boom and bang, that's for you. And I was like, oh, okay, fireworks.
Shit.
I'm like, all right, sign me up.
This ain't no 4th of July.
Right. So my dumb self just at that time I was very hasty at my decision. I made a hasty decision and I shouldn't have.
Right.
But I'm like, all right, go. And it was also that it was the earliest shipment date as well, is why I chose it as well. Because remember, I was trying to escape away from home very quickly.
So by any means, it's ASAP.
Right. Because if that, because I probably would have chosen to be a human resource, in human resources. But that shipment date was like some months, and I'm like, I don't think I could wait that long, But Right. So after that, I ended up signing up. They was like, you know what, you're gonna be shipped out July 7th. I'm like, okay. So 4th of July gets here. I'm like, all right, got 3 more days. After them 3 days, I've packed a little small bag.
Sayonara.
Right, and yeah, they picked me up. They took me to it's called MEPS, which is a military entrance processing station.
Okay.
So this is where like all the branches, your process, you're in process, like so fingerprinted and all those other things.
Right. All the precautions, yes.
Right.
Yes.
All the precautions and things of that nature. So, yep. So I ended up doing that. We ended up waiting for a little bit. They gave us our, they put us in a room because we had of course to get our physical. Twice. We got our physicals, I believe, like it was twice.
Mm-hmm.
And once you pass the physicals twice, and you were able to, pass everything, you were able to go and get your ticket to fly off to, your duty station.
Mm-hmm.
Not your duty station, but yeah, your basic training station, I guess, or location. So I ended up flying to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma, it was a lot. It was really a lot because it was in the summertime. It was a lot to take in. Drill sergeants. It was just a lot to take in. And this was at age 27.
Oh wow.
This was not no little 18-year-old. This was age 27. I'm now 30.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but still, like you said, despite the age, this is still something new to you. So it's kind of like being pushed into something, and they're moving so rapidly.
Right.
It's kind of like, ooh, like you said, just trying to process everything. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a lot of strenuous things. There's a lot of things I didn't think I can do that I did.
Come on now.
Because I was not an athletic or active individual. Only thing active I did was walk. I could walk miles and miles and miles and miles and miles,
These
and not
boots are
even
made for walking.
Yeah, not even get because that was my means of transportation, was just to walk.
I'm walking.
So if I had to go grocery shopping, I would walk a whole country mile to go get some huge bags, like a whole bunch of big bags in both arms, traveling a mile.
But even though you weren't, like you said, athletic, I think it was more so of the dedication in your mind to be like, okay, bitch, I'm gonna go do this, and I'm gonna go back, and it's kind of like, wow, you thinking it's something like small, but yet you walking a country mile, and that's kind of long, ain't it?
Nah, to me it wasn't. I mean, to me it's not.
Maybe to me, because I'm 5'2", so my ass, I'll probably it'd be a country 3 miles for me to your 1, right?
Yeah, so that just ended up, so I completed basic training. I went to basic training in July. I completed it in September.
Okay.
So I was able to graduate. Then I went to what is called AIT, which is Advanced Individualized Training.
Oh, shit.
And this is where your MOS training comes into play. So first basic training is, to soldierize you. It's to, soldierization, so
right.
It's to break you from a civilian and mold you into a soldier.
Right.
So I've already completed that. So I've already earned that title of BAM, being a soldier. Then AIT came. I was still in the same area, just, about like a few miles away, but still in the same state, for my AIT. And it was a Canon crew member, so 13 Bravo, that's the Army phonetic alphabet, or the military phonetic alphabet, I should say.
Okay.
And B stands for Bravo, C stands for Charlie, D stands for Delta, things of that nature. So I just remember I was a hold under when I got to before I got to my AIT. So from basic training, AIT didn't even start yet, but I was over at pretty much my AIT unit. And we were just waiting for our training to start. It didn't start on time, so it was waiting and waiting and waiting. Then once it started, that's when I just remember it was hell. It really was. It was a lot of training that I went through that I didn't even believe I could even pass, I was thinking like, nah, I don't think I'm going to be able to make this. I don't, but I pushed, and I had a support system. I had people who were in the same class as me. Like, no, we're going to help you. We want to see you go and, do great things. Because, we had got our duty station assignments. And my duty station assignment was Hawaii.
Okay.
So.
Aloha Oi.
Right. So I went, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is my dream. I've never been here before, and I've always wanted to go here. But I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it because this test is kicking my butt. It's really physical, and I don't know, if I'm gonna be able to do it or not. But I had people saying, no, we're gonna help you. No, we're gonna, get you to that stage where you need to be. We're not gonna give up on you if you don't give up on us. Pretty much.
And I think that's the
I had
reason
people
why
rallying around me, and I appreciated that because that's what it was. Long story short, they did it. I was the last in my class to pass that test. Everybody else passed it before me, but I was the last person. But at least I passed.
Exactly that part.
Right.
And I kind of want to put a pin in something that you said too, like, I think the reason why that was going on because of how advanced you were as an individual, but also building up morale. Because when it comes down to leadership, and I've even said it on another panel, as far as you need, of course, the physical strength to be able to protect yourself, but you also need strategy and you need emotional intelligence, which builds the morale.
Exactly.
When you were going through that and you felt like I couldn't make it and you weren't able to tap into your own emotions, you had the support of other people pouring or sharing their energy and giving it to you to push you to do that. So, I mean, and like you said, I might be the last bitch, but hey, baby, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I finished.
Yeah, absolutely. I was able to graduate. That's all that mattered.
Part. Okay.
And go off to my first duty station.
Right.
So.
Now, before you go into the next segment, as far as the duty station and graduation, I just want to ask you, during that time of basic training and before you were going to be stationed, like, was there anything discussed about your sexuality? Did people inquire about it? Were there other people who were also queer who was kind of like what was that like? Or did that not matter?
It did not matter. I didn't mention it at all.
Okay, I got you.
It was not even a conversation. And, everybody, I was talking to a lot of people. A lot of people, they didn't look at me like, oh, what's going on? Like they didn't look at that, It was more so just about getting through this army thing, And that's what it was a breath of fresh air. At that part of it was a breath of fresh air because I didn't think that existed, So so I got done with AIT and I was a holdover, which means that I had to wait to be shipped with, other people in my class. It was like 5 of us total. So myself and 4 others, we had the duty station to go to Hawaii. So that was pretty much cool. and we ended up going. So we ended up graduating. It was November. We did not end up leaving until December.
Oh wow.
So I think like our graduation was like November 18th
Mm-hmm.
ish, and then we didn't leave until December 4th.
Okay.
So we were like held over for like that long.
Is that normal or?
No, because of COVID.
Oh,
COVID
okay,
was
I got you.
happening. That
Okay.
year.
So if it
So
was happening, it would have been faster or quicker,
right,
right?
right,
Okay,
right, right,
got you,
right,
got you.
right, right,
Okay.
right. Okay. So that's why it was a lot of hold over, hold under, due to the COVID situation. And so, long story short, ended up going to first duty station, Hawaii. It was very, ooh and ah, that I saw a lot of stuff. Looked like a rainforest, like when I first got down there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was beautiful. It really was. Then we had to quarantine, for 2 weeks before we got to our unit.
Mm-hmm.
Quarantined for 2 weeks. The day that I was supposed to ship off to my actual unit was December 21st, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And at that time, it wasn't that many people at my unit. The unit I was going to get shipped at. And so, I didn't really too much have a sponsor. I had a sponsor, but I had like a makeshift sponsor. I didn't have a sponsor, that
Oh, you kind of. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think we kind of. Okay, we're going to have to wait for him to come back. I don't know what happened with his device. It was kind of spazzing out and then it just dropped. So we're still going to wait for him. But how are y'all enjoying it so far if you're still in here? Okay? Because again, I just want to pass the mic. I might be able to pause sometimes and be like, hey, I'm inquisitive about something. And thus far, I'm glad that his experiences about him being queer is not like the forefront of his story, which it just labels him as that. At least in the beginning it was, until he was able to, go ahead and get his masters and everything. But at least with the story with his guardian and even being in the military, at least for the basic training aspect of it. Okay, they're back.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I was like, what happened?
Yeah,
I was just letting them know that, the beginning of that of you sharing your story, I'm glad that the queer experiences or the experiences that dealt with queerness was not as harsh, I'm saying, as unfortunately a lot of others. So and I want to hear stories of that too, so that we can help change the narrative, so that other queer people can have those experiences to where it's like, okay, you're queer, okay. Yeah. All right. It's whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, but yes, right. Go ahead. I think you were getting ready to tell us about being stationed in. It looked like a rainforest and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, about the sponsor. I didn't have a sponsor, a signed sponsor. So it was pretty much like a makeshift one. And, the sponsor just came and took me to the unit and processed me. And I was now a part of, the particular battery I was in. So a battery is like a company. Okay. So it's like, all the people that are in one company. So one formation, one small formation is that, or mid-size, I guess you can say. It's not small, it's actually mid-size, but yeah. And I just remember the only thing that we really had to do, because everybody there was on holiday block leave. So when I got to my unit was pretty much on holiday block leave. So I didn't see everybody until after holiday block leave ended. So I didn't know too many people. I didn't get to see too many people until that time came. Right. So I ended up going. Everybody ended up coming back. I ended up seeing who was in my section. Now, in a battery, it's comprised of sections. So you have 3 numbered sections. I was in all 3 of them at one point throughout my whole military life, my whole Army career. So I was pretty much pillow to post through all the sections. Well, not in that way, but I'm saying like pretty much tossed around.
Yeah,
right.
The time, yeah.
Right. So the first section, it was all right. Kind of did bump a little bit of heads with with my leadership. My immediate leadership, not the top leadership, but like my like the chief and all that. Had little disagreements here or there, but other than that, one of them was trying to tell me that I couldn't wear a part in my head.
Oh, wow.
Had an issue with me having a part in my head,
Wow.
Things like that. But it was actually okay. I learned that it was actually okay to have, and that was part of a regulation that it was all right
for you to have the side part.
Yes.
Okay.
Like things like that. You see what I'm saying?
So like kind of like smaller micro type of things.
Right. Well, first.
Oh,
and
so
then,
it started off micro.
Right.
Okay.
So that was the first section that I was in. It wasn't nothing too big. Right. The second section that I was in was a different chief. Then after, I had 2 chiefs in the second section I was in. So one of the chiefs, that chief, he was pretty much, he was good, he was cool. I didn't have no issues out of him. The second chief, I didn't have any issues out of him too much either. He was pretty much cool, at least I thought he was, right? But I just remember it was one time that he did ask me, what did I do for a particular weekend? And I told him, I went out, to the movies, out to dinner, And then he kind of was like, oh, okay. Oh, really? Okay. By yourself or with a friend or, And I'm at that point, it's like, why should it matter?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought I've established a rapport with him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because we would talk, very, vibrantly, very comfortably. Like, I didn't feel like, I'm like, oh, no, this is somebody, I need to hide information from. It didn't feel that way.
Right.
So, I told him, I'm like, yeah, with a friend. He was like, I'm not trying to be in your business or anything like that, but is it a female or a male?
Lord.
Right.
But why can't it just be a friend? Why you gotta go down the rabbit hole?
Right.
I told you, it's the military, and don't ask, don't tell, right? Why you asking?
Right.
So I can tell.
But as you see, you see what's going on. You see, so when they say that don't ask, don't, it's still an underlying culture.
And not even just in, and you're right about the culture part, because not even in the military. Let's take it back to where you was getting ready to go over your friend's house and you were asked where the hell you going. So it's kind of like, no matter, even if queer people try to hide their experiences, it's kind of like when the truth part comes for us to be vulnerable and we tell.
Right.
So it's kind of like either way, like our sexuality, whether we wanted to or not, is going to be discovered.
Exactly.
It's going to be highlighted. It's going to be inquired about. You can't escape it. Like if you were to go out and there was a female that was like, oh my God, you so fine or whatever, it's kind of like, okay, what do I then do? Do you get what I'm saying? So I just wanted to point that out, but go ahead. So
definitely. And so we so I'm like, it's a male, He was like, oh, okay, all right. He said, oh, okay, all right, and start to smirk at me. And, looking like, amazement and surprise, And then I went my separate way. He went his separate way.
Okay.
Then, everything was going well. Everything was going good. Then I got to He didn't treat me different. I didn't feel like he treated me differently. I never felt that way.
That's good.
That's one thing I could say about him.
That's good.
I never felt that way about him. But do I believe that, what I'm about to tell you, he had something to do with it? Yes, I do. Because, in fact, he was about the only person that I told. Unless they did some digging in my background. They probably found some stuff on the internet that I don't know anything about. They probably did, because it's the military. So I wouldn't put it past anything, but it could be a culmination of anything, Right. So I'm like, all right.
So it's still like allegation, allegedly or speculatively, you're saying, right? Right. Gotcha. Okay.
So, long story short, I remember I didn't do so well in his section. So they ended up switching me to another person's section. That was the third numbered section in that platoon. So all the sections make up one platoon. So it's 3 sections that make up one platoon.
Okay.
And we had 2 platoons, so 6 sections in total, from 1 to 6. So yeah. And I just remember going to this, next person section. This is the last section in that platoon that I ever was in. So I'm like, well, yeah, we're gonna move. We're gonna move Michael to this section now. And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. Because this section, this chief was, pretty much hardcore. And I'm like, I just don't have time for it.
The last chance high, Jesus.
Right. I'm like, I ain't got time for it at all. I don't need nobody to try to come at me, I'm like, I might have to fight. I told myself that. I'm like, I just might have to, since I got up in this, section. But so far it was good. We was kosher, I didn't get into any fights. If anything, it was a back and forth argument, or it was a a yelling and, get me to deal, type deal. So, I could live with that. I wasn't, because it was the middle. That's what the culture is.
Yeah, yelling and screaming in your face. Yes.
Right. So I'm not annoyed about that. But
I could have stayed at home for this shit if I'm gonna be yelled at in my face.
Right.
I could have stayed at home. Shit.
Basically.
At least I can still be free. But go ahead.
Basically. So, I'm going to give you a backstory of who I am, like in identity-wise. I identify as a feminine Black gay male.
Okay.
I do. So like I used to wear like cosmetics and on my face. So I used to do that.
Okay.
And that's just what.
Okay. No.
Right. But not too crazy though. You see what I'm saying?
It's
like
just a
nice natural,
little beat, nice little something.
Right. Just very light. Not RuPaul drag racing. I wasn't doing
not deeply seasoned. Okay, lightly seasoned.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, come to find out, I ended up going to that section. We ended up, getting to know each other and whatever the case may be. I remember this particular chief had asked me a question. He was like, hey, are you, he was like, yeah, are you, he was like, so wait, you like guys, like girls, out of the blue. And I remember, he and my last chief, being, buddy with each other. At the same day I was supposed to get switched. Right. It's the same day I was supposed to get switched to his section. So I'm like, and y'all ain't even cool with each other. Like I was looking at it like y'all don't talk to each other, y'all don't even hang out with each other. So I'm like, I had a raised eyebrow on that. Like, all right. But I didn't think nothing of it. But, that is when he had asked me that question. I was like, oh, no, I'm like, sending them off. Oh, I'm into girls, because at the end of the day, I didn't want to complicate things.
Right.
But I've already
right.
did, pretty much. Because little did
Unbeknownst.
I know, it had to have been some talk, about, what, about my life. It had to have been to somewhere, because I'm going to get to what, transpired.
Okay.
So when I was in his section, he told, myself and my section mates at the time that we were going to have a room inspection, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. He was like, make sure everything, you clean up and all that. Make sure
Steady.
everything's right. So I'm like, all right, cool. I went and, I was cleaning up and, I had my military bag. I remember, I had, because I had makeup or cosmetics.
Right.
And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, hey, like, what do I do? What do I do? So what I did was I put it in the military bag and I put it in my trunk. I walked the military bag down in my trunk of my car. And as I'm, bringing my military bag down, I noticed it was another person from my battery, in his uniform, speaking with another person. And he's like, oh, so-and-so, what are you doing? Up this night, this late at night. I'm like, oh, I'm just, I'm cleaning my room, putting this, about to, put this bag up. And so he was like, oh, okay. I remember, I never took the bag out or none of that. Because, they told us, okay, the room inspection is going to be this time. Make sure you get ready. That whole day, I didn't even have a room inspection, for one.
Oh, wow.
So I knew something was going on. For two, I remember my chief asking me, yeah, hey, you got room in your trunk? And I'm like, no, I don't have room in my trunk. He was like, what? He was like, what's in there? I was like, a bag. And he smiled at me. And I didn't understand what to think of it. Now, mind you, in my room, my, it's easy to get in somebody's room. It was so easy to get in somebody's room. Like, you could easily call staff duty and say, oh, I'm locked out of my room.
Damn.
And they're going to swipe that card.
It's the military.
They're not
Y'all
going to
got me
verify.
getting fingerprints and shit, but y'all can't stop motherfuckers from breaking in my shit.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Girl, where's Jack Reacher at? Where is he at?
That part. So, I left, because you were able to lock your closet, So I left a key in my drawer, outside of my locked closet, because I'm like, yeah, ain't nobody gonna touch it, they can't come in my room without me being there, right? That's what the policy is, right?
The policy said it. Right.
Some crap. It's not really, but whatever. And so I just noticed that I came back from that day of work. I remember, my bedding, it was very dirty. Like, it had like a lot of like dust and debris and hair shavings and all of that. And I'm like, I know my bed shouldn't look like this. What? I'm like, I know my bed shouldn't look like this. I didn't leave my bed like that. My bed was perfectly made. It, everything was clean, because I wash my sheets every week. Like at least 2 times a week, I would wash my sheets. So, and I just remember opening my closet. All of my shoes are dusty and dirty.
Wow.
They are scrunched, like they're bent. You see what I'm saying? They got scrape marks on them. You see what I'm saying?
So basically, you walk into a room that you know you ain't leave this way before you left.
Basically.
Wow.
Basically. So
Wow.
that let me know, and then, it's all playing back in my head, like what my chief had, asked me, And so the key was outside of the drawer, right? Then my spare car key was inside the drawer in my closet. So I'm like, if you were able to get inside of my closet, what make me not think that you weren't able to get inside my car?
I mean,
I know
it's
you
military.
were. Right, it's military. So, long story short, I didn't confront it. I just let it be, let it wean off or whatever. I noticed when I got over back to my battery, I noticed everybody were distancing themselves away from me.
Wow.
I noticed a lot of, subliminal, talk and subliminal code, going in, and, it was just a lot. It was just a lot. It was a lot to take in. And I'm like, I know exactly what it is. I'm like, it's got to be this. It has to be. Because before that, everything was good. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and again, like, I think because again, I'm just going to be smart on my end, no shade, to be smart and say allegedly or speculatively, you know what I'm saying? But based on what you're telling me and what I'm listening, I think what kind of confirmed it for me is the fact that when you went to the last section and that section leader asked you if you were into boys or girls, and you threw them off and said, "Oh, I'm into girls."
Yeah.
And then it should have been that.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like, my thing is, how did we lead to this conversation about, oh, do you like boys and girls? Like, there was nothing to preface the conversation. It was just out of the blue. And then now that I said this, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now all this weird shit is happening. Now, in reference to like the makeup, did they ever end up finding the makeup?
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing about it is, I mean, they went inside of my my trunk. I know they did. Well, I don't know they did. I'm not gonna say that I know.
So you're going to just allegedly they
right. Because I didn't see them do it.
Right.
But it kind of felt as if they did just about what he pointed out. What's in your trunk? Oh, a bag. He's smiling. Why are you smiling about me having a bag in my trunk?
I'm about to say, y'all think I got a bag of weed or something? Like, this is what I think.
Right.
Like, y'all thought I got an ounce or something. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
So as far as it being the makeup, like, because I'm still trying to find, like, I guess, like, the whole fact of the whole makeup thing being the situation.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, they already asked you if you into guy or girls. You said you're into girls to kind of throw them off. So you didn't explicitly tell them that you were queer. The only person that you told that was queer was the last section chief or section leader. So with the makeup and everything, like, did you ever wear makeup on base?
I did not. Well, not on duty.
So off duty, like, if you were like in your room, or like, where would you wear, the light?
Regular clothes, and it would be like, to like, the grocery store that's like nearby, things like that, and it wasn't nothing that was like, too crazy,
Right, but it was like a slight enhancement in a sense.
Right.
Okay, so were you still comfortable enough to, like, if you were out, because you were still close by to the place you had to be serviced at, so it was like, were you ever nervous of running into somebody from the sections you were at to be like, kind of like looking at you like, no, bro, your face kind of look a little different?
That's the thing about it.
And that's the thing about it. I ran into people that was like that. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I ran into, people in my battery while having that on. You see what I'm saying? But you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of catch-22 in a way.
Yeah, because it's like, do you think they ever had conversations about it, like behind the scenes? Because like when they saw you with the makeup on, like how did they respond? Like were they kind of like still the same way? Hey, what's going on? How you doing, man? I mean, your face looking nice, bro. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? You got that Snapchat filter on, or was it more so kind of like, oh, hey, how you doing? It was short talk, and then like, next time I see you, it's like stares and like, what this nigga doing?
Right. So, what alerted me to know that was going on and that they knew about it was because all of a sudden we had a transgender meeting.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Out of the blue.
Yes.
After this took place, we never, out of all the years I've been, that's never been anything. That's never been a thing. Literally, that was the first time we've ever had that.
And what happened?
So that's why I'm like, yeah. And then, it was subliminal messaging. It was one time I was at the 24-hour duty desk. Ended up seeing a wig. Now this was the place that I was supposed to go to. And a person and my battery ended up having like they're on 24-hour duty and it's a wig in there, and I have to be there, like little things like that. Also, the word it was the word fad was carved in a military vehicle.
Wow. And were these all in spaces that you were in?
Yes. Absolutely.
So it's kind of weird, like, as far as how, because I'm really trying to look at this as objectively as I can.
Right.
Again, I'm just, what I'm saying, just to be fair. But at the same time, it's kind of like, in reference to queerphobia, how covert it can be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it don't have to be the overt physical violence or the public discrimination as far as using bashing verbiage or whatever. But it could be the small micro things, like, I'm going to this place, why the fuck is there a wig in here? Is there a joke or something that I'm not in on? Like, I'm a part of the gang now, y'all, whether y'all want to realize it or not. I graduated and all that type of shit. And it's kind of weird because it's like, y'all was able to keep that energy in the beginning when we all needed to depend on each other. It wasn't a matter of queerness or nothing. Exactly. But now that I had took this one opportunity to be vulnerable and to be honest and to trust the people around me, because again, if we're called to duty in the field, we have to trust each other. So if we can trust each other in our truth now, when we're fighting for each other, it'll make us want to, make sure everybody's okay in a greater capacity. So now that you asked me about my weekend that I could have kept to myself, that I could have been like, it's not really your business. Exactly. But I decided, again, because we cool, to have a conversation with you and tell you what's going on. And then I say I went to a movies and I went out to dinner. That could have just been it. But you were inquisitive. Oh, did you go by yourself or with a friend? Right. I could have lied and said I went by myself. Exactly. But again, I'm being honest, and I said I went with a friend. Then instead of it just being left then and there, then you preface the shit by saying, I ain't trying to get in your business, but I'm gonna proceed to get in your business because again, this is the military. No shade. But was it a male or female? I could have told you female, but I was honest with you and I told you male. Then you told me, okay, all right, that's cool, and then you smirked. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. When you said smirked, a part of me in my mind was like, girl, is your ass on the low, girl? You trying to do some DL shit here? Because I don't know, because you smirking and shit. You probably glad I'm in your goddamn section, bitch. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm transferred to the last section, and that section chief, out the blue, asks me, do I like boys or girls?
Yeah.
And instead of me walking in my truth and could have said, oh, I like dudes. Is there a problem, sir? Instead of responding that way, I lied. So even with me lying to, again, not cause any confusion and shit,
Yeah.
I'm still having this weird shit happen to me. And
Exactly.
so let me ask you this. When the first situation happened where your room was broken in and it was dirty and stuff, like, what prevented you from, like, taking pictures and documenting what's going on and
I
going
did.
to okay, so explain that to us, like, what happened with that? Because you
I
said you had
did.
let it go, so whatever. So I'm
Yes.
wondering, like,
Yep.
how did that, what did that look like?
So the thing about it is, I waited some weeks,
Okay.
because I wanted to see how long this was gonna go. I wanted to see how long, was this just a day thing, or was this just, it's gonna be some weeks, some months,
Right, like, you're building
whatever.
up your case, like, is it a
Right.
hazing thing, like, because I'm new, like
Right,
what is it,
right.
like, okay, let me wait it out
Right.
and see, let me not just jump the gun here.
Right, exactly,
Go ahead.
exactly, and
Go ahead.
that was one of the reasons why I didn't, jump the gun so quick, because I'm like,
Right.
I want to make sure that this is actually what is going on.
Come on,
before-
strategist. That's our strategy is you wait.
Right. Yeah.
Niggas with
yeah.
fupas need to learn that, but go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing of the matter is, I ended up waiting. I ended up after I ended up waiting, I ended up what is that? Yeah, because I ended up confronting my chief.
Okay.
And I told him, I was like, do you know of anybody? I was like, did you go in my room? I did. I told him that. And I was head up, like I told him, I was like, I got to talk to you. I was like, did you go in my room and, do like, because I'm seeing like certain things, my underwear's getting stretched out. Yeah, like little things.
Y'all niggas stretching
like,
underwear.
Yes, underwear's stretched out. What is that? What is that? A-shirts, the white beaters, stretched. Little cuts to, my clothing, like little things like that, little subliminal, very, things that you can't tell, but you can tell.
Right.
Like,
it's not too obvious.
Right.
You can
right.
tell because it's your shit.
Right.
If I
exactly.
put my underwear on, and it's like, bitch. I mean,
right.
I mean, I'm not fucking up the mess hall late at night. Am I, girl, to stretch my shit out? Like, I'm putting my shit on. My shit don't fit. I know how my shit fit. I know how my shit look.
Exactly. I know what it did last time.
So it's
why
not
they
even
doing
that.
the same thing this time?
So with the and I'm probably going to ask you, because I was going to message you this, but do you still happen to have like any pictures or anything from that time that can kind of like help substantiate that, just for us to be able to,
That's the thing
share.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a new phone.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it's a new phone. Unfortunately,
Okay.
because I took little pictures and little things, and then I went to file once I asked my chief, all that, and he's like, no, I don't know who did it. I don't know who did it. So and so, do you know who did it? Because I don't know. Maybe the first sergeant, they might have done it. I don't think they could have did it though, because they would have to be in there with you and sending me off and all that stuff.
So
but what happened.
So you have all this stuff. So was there ever any thought, like, I know there are chains of commands,
Yeah,
and stuff
absolutely.
like that. So like, was there ever any thought to be like, okay, if I'm having this shit happen to me and I'm reporting this stuff and everybody just walking around and being like, hey, I don't know what the fuck is going on, even though it's the military, y'all supposed to know what's going on,
Right.
but in this case, y'all not. Is there anybody that you could have went up that was like a higher up over your section chief? Oh, okay.
I sure did. Yeah.
Okay.
I sure did.
So what did that sound like? Like, how did that process? Like, what did that look like?
Okay, so I went to my first sergeant and my battery commander at the time.
Okay.
and I talked to them about what was going on. The thing about it is they already knew what was going on. And the reason what made me know that they already knew what was going on was just how they handled the situation.
Okay.
So I was no longer a part of, once I delved that information, I got switched from being a Canon crew member to going into like the HR for our battery. Like it was a complete job move, like literally.
Was it like a downgrade in a sense?
No, it was an upgrade. That's an upgrade.
Okay.
That's an upgrade because you're working close with the first sergeant and the battery commander, you know.
Oh, okay. So,
and you are under a different chief, you know.
Oh, okay.
Who is right. So that was an upgrade, you know.
I just wanted to be sure. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely an upgrade. Because, you know, I didn't have to go out to the field, do all that, you know. I didn't have to do what they had to do, what the, you know, what a regular 13 Bravo would have to do.
So, okay, I just wanted to be sure to say that because one thing that I'm glad to hear that is different in a lot of queer people's experiences, because like your experiences and like my experiences, a lot of people who are ignorant and fear-based and won't really do their research, they will say that people like us are outliers. Like it don't happen to all of us. But it's like, have you done the research to actually talk to every queer person to see? So the fact that you've had, even though these experiences were queerphobic as far as showing how covert queerphobia can be, it was like still the way that you operated, it just seemed like things kind of benefited you, like, or you were able to transmute all this crazy shit. Because here you go from, first of all, doing basic training where all of a sudden we have camaraderie, and I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
And now I'm having a vulnerable moment because that's how you build morale with your teammates, is to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that worked against me. And I went and did the right thing. Someone broke into my shit. I could have handled it differently. I could have started whooping niggas' asses. I could have started setting people up. I could have started really doing some crazy shit that y'all probably would have caught me before I even did.
Exactly.
But I went to the proper channels and I told them what was going on, and nothing could be done, but yet it was still happening. So the fact that you went to someone that was higher and they said, you know what, you ain't got to deal with that shit no more. Let's upgrade your ass and put you closer. Like, that proves to me also for queer people, like if you continue to walk in your truth and really believe in yourself, even when horrible shit happens to you, you can still transmute it, because queerphobia and homophobia will never die. It's a part of the human experience. But as far as how your interpretation of it or how you deal with it, you have the power to change that. So, and I'm glad that you did go and tell, because I had thought, like, because you said earlier, like, I just swept it under the rug. I paid it. But the fact that you were able to give us context and said, yeah, I paid it for a reason, to establish a concrete timeline of what's going on.
Right.
And y'all not even validating that, but yet it's still happening. And not only that, now that I still did my part, even though other people didn't do theirs, I evolved. So therefore, I ain't got to be in the field with them niggas. I can be over here doing this. Okay, no shade. I ain't got to come back home in a body bag. Next. I'm sorry. Go forward. Okay.
So, after that, and then, although it kind of was a good thing, but then, you know, that I got moved, but not really, you know. So I was away from the
was gonna stop. Okay.
Right. I was away from the battery. Right. I was away from the battery, and then they moved me to a living space where I was around the battery. You know, because, you know, my first sergeant and my commander at the time was like, oh, you know, we think it'll be, you know, perfect for you, you know, to be over in this area, you know, so we could have eyes on you and we can make sure that everything is okay with you. But only thing that did was that allowed people to mess with me even more better.
So
that's all it did.
I'm over here thinking your ass got evolved to where you're going to be working close to them and you ain't got to deal with them. So basically you got moved somewhere else, but you still put in the same vicinity as these people.
Wow. Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So it was the same stuff going on. I was trying to go ahead and make a police report with the military police.
Mm-hmm.
They did not honor anything that I said. They looked at me like I was crazy.
Wow.
They and honestly, one of the police told me, he was like, "We can't do anything unless you have video. If you don't have camera and video footage of anything transpiring, we cannot help you." It's literally what he told me.
So even though you brought in proof of the aftermath, he wants the proof of it happening in real time, right?
Exactly. And I'm like,
and you don't know when the fuck that's gonna happen. Like if I knew this was gonna happen, I would have recorded it. But the fact that it's after the fact, like
exactly. Then I did another thing with the barracks manager. I asked him, you know what? Do you think we could get video footage to see if somebody's going inside of my room or not? We waited a long time. He said, "Oh, we got to get the cameraman to come here. It's going to take him a long time." I don't know what could have transpired that long time. He probably was deleting proof. You see what I'm saying? He could have been. Because when he came, it wasn't no proof of nobody going inside of my room. Not even, it was only me going inside my room. Not even my roommate going inside the room. And I know he went inside the room.
See, my ass would have been Googling,
you said,
give me a Temu or a Wish camera or something and a Teddy Bear and something.
That's what I tried to do.
And I'm going to motherfucking try to record some shit.
I literally tried to do that. And I was trying to hide it. I'm trying to tell you, I don't know who it was. These people were, it was some batshit crazy stuff with these people. Like, I don't know if these people were, like the crazy female off of Obsessed with Beyonce. Like, I think that was what was transpiring with these people. Like, I really think whoever it was, I don't know if it had to have been a group of people though. It can't be just one person just all doing this, So I know it was a team of people, working together.
So basically, like, as far as the queerphobic or the covert queerphobia,
right?
Were there any anything said directly to you or done directly to you in real time, or was this more so like fucking with your room? Like, it's always your room. Like, if I leave my room, when I come back, it's going your car. Okay, so what was going on with your car?
Issues with it driving. It was a brand new car, and it was issues with, tires, feeling loose and rocky, and that's not how I had it before. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Before, so it was driving perfectly fine. Right. And to make matters, I had a Kia.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And yeah. So you know about what's going on with Kias as of now, So you could only imagine what was going on then, if that's what's going on now. So, because military people, a lot of them just have that intelligence. You see what I'm saying? It's about like intelligence warfare. And if you are not have a certain intellect, and your oppressor has a certain intellect, they can pull things over your head. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I found myself.
And power and influence too, yeah.
Right.
This is military. These are people that you are conditioned to have the utmost respect for, but I'm not being treated with respect.
Right.
I'm having my stuff dealt with, and do y'all think I want to come to y'all all the time and feel like I'm nagging to where it's like, oh, here he come.
Right.
What's happening now? Exactly what's going now? And it's kind of like, what are y'all actively doing? Like, if I keep coming to, and I'm being moved around a lot, and stuff, and just and all this shit started happening once I divulged my sexuality. That's it. Like, beforehand, before anybody knew that I was dating, before when we were honoring the don't ask, don't tell policy or the ideology that still wants to be implemented into the military, it's like, all this shit is changed. Okay, so
Yeah.
all that's going on, did there ever come a point of resolve? Like,
Yes.
or when it, or where it ended, or there was some sort of resolution that happened?
And that's the thing about it. I don't think it's ever ended.
Mm.
But before I get to that,
Mhm.
I will tell you what transpired.
Okay.
So I ended up going and going to the mental health, because they have a mental health, department.
Shout out to the mental health department.
And I was pretty much telling them what I felt like I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, oh, okay, and it was writing. I met with this lady about like once a month, once every 2 months, and telling her and documenting, like, how are you feeling? You're feeling good? Oh, you're not feeling that well? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much, talking about what I've been experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Then also I went and saw a psychiatrist.
Okay.
A psychiatrist that she ended up prescribing me medication.
Mm-hmm.
After I took a test. I took a test that pretty much it proved that something was like I was going through some type of I don't know what you call that. Is it? I think not. It was some type of disorder that not paranoia. It's not paranoia. It's something it is. So it's paranoid personality disorder.
Okay.
It's what they stigmatized me as.
Okay.
And I know it not to be, I know I'm not paranoid at all.
Yeah, because if you have certain, if I'm not mistaken, if you have certain mental health conditions that can, like, I guess, compromise yourself or possibly compromise your team, wouldn't they, like, discharge you or something?
Yeah. So, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
So, the fact that they told me, okay, yeah, you have paranoid personality disorder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, I know it not to be true. But then they told me I had a choice whether I wanted to stay in or leave.
Okay.
How are you giving me a choice to stay or leave, but then you're telling me that I have this disorder, which is telling me that I'm unfit? Make it make sense. It can't be both happening. It has to be either or. So that was a red flag for me. That is honestly what let me know that is not really what actually happened, and they know it. You see what I'm saying? Because if it was like that, you got to understand. I didn't even go through the actual process that I was supposed to. I really didn't.
And if
It
you,
was.
and if
It
you
was.
have, go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You can go.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying, like, because if I went through the whole process, I'm telling, like, it was certain things that they did that you knew. Oh yeah, they already know. They just messing with you. Because if it was really that serious, I would have been out of the army early.
Yeah, I was just about to say
I didn't
that.
get out of the army until this year's January.
Wow, I was just about to say that. That's what I was going to, like, put the pin in, because it's like, if that personality disorder was extreme to where it's now being diagnosed, that would have showed up during basic training.
Exactly.
That would have shown up in all these other type of things, to where those who are looking would have been like, yeah, like you said, it would have been early on.
Exactly.
None of this stuff, as far as me being paranoid, did not start to happen until I decided that I wanted to be honest with one person who is a section chief, that I feel like if there's anybody that I should be able to confide in, is him.
Yeah.
And now all this other stuff is happening to me that is so micro that I know personally with my clothes, with my shoes, all that other type of stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I don't. Wow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. So after that, they was like, oh yeah, well yeah, we did see that you have this disorder going on. So yeah, it was like, would you like for us to? You can be approved for discharge. I'm just letting you know. Is that something that you want to do? Why does it have to be a question? It's a question because you see what I'm saying, and that's not really what it is.
Because if it was, you probably wouldn't have asked me the question. You would have just been like, okay, we're just going to discharge you.
Exactly. You see?
Yeah, but if you're giving me a choice, it's kind of like, well, I mean, you're the medical professional. I mean, if you feel like I'm going to compromise shit or I'm just making shit up and I'm being a hindrance, usually, but I don't know, because it's like with queer people and they talk about their own personal experiences, and because people are not willing to put in the work to even see if that's the case or be like, well, you have to prove everything to me. When it comes down to it being on a covert level, it becomes very difficult to prove it objectively because it's happening to me. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I'm saying, like, for queer people who feel like they're in that situation, you're going to have to find a way to prove it, which is the sad part, because oppressed groups of people always have to show the burden of proof. You know what I mean? Which is the sad part, because we've been consistently doing it. Now the fact that you're sharing your story is going to open up a can of worms, because there are going to be people who are going to be listening to this who are thinking that you're lying. Who are thinking that you're making it up, which is why I'm asking certain type of questions that might be considered devil's advocate, but it's really to kind of like really build validity in your story. Because even though you don't have the proof for this, you're not the only person who has talked about their treatment in the military in reference to them being queer. Exactly. You're just one of the many ones. So the fact that y'all voices and y'all willing to share y'all experiences, especially with a system that is a pretty scary system, girl. This is the military, girl. This is where the majority of the money goes to, not just to protecting, but also to oppressing people as well. And it's a very stoic place. So when it comes down to your feelings and your emotions, they don't really fucking matter. So the fact that people are fucking with you and you're trying to be like, hey, y'all, can y'all please stop? I'm really trying to build camaraderie with y'all. If I was in the field with y'all niggas, y'all would want my help. If y'all got shot in the fucking leg and you needed me to drag your ass to safety, all that fag shit wouldn't matter, girl. When we sitting here and we in the motherfucking house and we surrounded by the enemy, girl, and we could possibly die, and now it's us. See, that camaraderie was there in the beginning, but now that I'm queer, that shouldn't even fucking matter. Why is there wigs being put in place? Why is my shit being stretched out? Why are all these things happening to me? And then I get to this place to where now, instead of me popping off, instead of me acting ill, instead of me becoming dishonorably discharged because I hit one of you hoes in the throat and shit, I went to the mental health space to be able to have a conversation about how I'm feeling. And instead of people trying to help really objectively to validate my feeling by also doing what you can to prove and see if my side of the story is true, instead of you doing that, you automatically draft up this thing of me having a paranoid personality disorder and then give me the option, the one that's quote unquote mentally ill, if they want to leave or not. What? It's very weird. Okay, so that she gives you that crossroads. What was your choice?
So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I want you to, put the paperwork in. She was like, okay, I'm gonna put the paperwork in. All right, great. So she ended up doing it, and it took a minute because this was like June. We switched first sergeants, and we switched battery commanders before I even got out. So the first sergeant and battery commander that dealt with this at first were already gone. You see what I'm saying? Before I left. So yeah, it was just a lot, a lot of teasing, and I knew it was a lot of, you know, teasing. It's a lot of it.
Okay.
It just was a lot, and I'm just like, yeah.
So,
I didn't know how I was going to survive it, but I pretty much did. I survived it to get out.
Yeah, but it's just crazy how your journey was like.
Yeah.
From the beginning, how you wanted to escape a certain type of situation that was starting to become toxic.
Yeah.
And you went to the military, and it seemed like in the beginning in basic training, of course, everybody gonna want to connect with each other. Ain't that the time where they throwing motherfuckers in gas chambers and shit?
Yeah.
And having them throw the fuck up and trap? Yeah, you gonna need the morale because they're, like you said, they're building down the civilian part and building up the soldier part, which means building some sort of community. Right. With the soldiers, because we're going to be around each other in civil situations and in some cases very dangerous situations.
Right.
So it's like we're building that, then we get to a place where we passed it, we graduated, we're going to where we're specialized at. Right. And you're still trying to figure out where you're specialized at, because it's like, this is the military. I didn't grow up playing, maybe you did, I don't know, but no, I didn't grow up thinking I was going to turn Call of Duty into real life. You know what I mean? Right. So now that we're here and I'm trying to figure myself out, and I'm still being quiet. Like, I ain't telling everybody what my tea is. Like, I'm just me. Y'all don't even motherfucking know. I might put a little light makeup on. I might be a metrosexual. Hey, I might be, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then it's like, now that I share information about my personal life that I didn't share openly, because people think gay people just like, oh yes, bitch, I like dick and it.
Right.
No, this was, because again, like you said, you trying to move smooth through this shit. We're already in the military. This is a very stoic place that has a lot of toxic masculinity. Right. That's the breeding ground for it to literally turn you into a machine. Because when we look at some of the veterans today who have actually gone to war and have lost limbs and shit and stuff like that, they're never ever, when they come back home, they're never ever given the opportunity to become a civilian again. They're so used to being that machine that now they're the ones sleeping outside in a goddamn 5-foot trench and shit with gunshots playing on YouTube so they can sleep at night, because that's what they got used to.
Right.
And then going through all of that, people fucking with me, messing with my shit, then I leave. There are some people who are going to probably just say, oh, well, if anything, it just meant that you're too weak to be in the military. But and that's what they think. But my thing is, I shouldn't have to be dealing with this with people who I'm supposed to be building a camaraderie with.
Right.
Y'all shouldn't be doing this fucked up shit. Now, bitch, if y'all want to talk about jokes and shit, that's fine. I'm cool with the jokes and shit, because I'm with the Laugh-A-Palooza. Like I said, if you want to laugh this shit, we could be in the ring together. You know what I'm saying? But as far as fucking with my personal stuff, breaking in my shit, doing small stuff, it's kind of like, if y'all niggas really want to be boss like that, why don't y'all really be about it? Stop doing quote unquote bitch shit.
Exactly.
Which is shit behind my motherfucking back, nigga, instead of do it to my motherfucking face. But if you did, you know that some of these laws that's put in place that people trying to change will hold your ass accountable. And even when I did try to hold y'all accountable and got moved somewhere else, I still got put in the same fucking situation, girl. What the fuck?
Exactly.
I'm supposed to be moved to motherfucking goddamn isolation, girl, by myself, and yet I'm being moved to another part of the general population, bitch, for them to do the same shit, so nothing changed. So now I don't know who to talk to about this. Y'all trying to make y'all gaslighting me to make me feel like I'm crazy, that I'm delusional. And then when I go to the mental health place, which is supposed to be able to deal with your feelings and your emotions, because your emotions, energy, emotion affects your fucking brain, to get some sort of, okay, can somebody please try to understand me? You just label me as, oh, you're just paranoid as fuck. That's all. You're just paranoid, and we're gonna use some medication. And I mean, if you want to stay, we're going to do the politically correct thing here. Because normally back in the day, we would just motherfucking throw you hoes out. But today, we just have to be sensitive to your feelings. So, do you want to stay or do you want to go? So, how has it been like post Army? Now that you're out, that was your experience. How has life been for you in reference to being queer?
Life has, I still, there's still some things that, still go on that I'm kind of raising my eyebrow but I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to think about it too much. One of the things when I was during the military, like I would notice that like the quality of food would not be that well. It would not be good
Hell no,
at
it's
all.
the military.
Like I'm talking about like the way that they were, like the fast food restaurants.
Oh,
That quality was awful. Like super greasy chicken. Like cold fries. Like, yeah. Like, so they were, I don't know, like I just feel like I was like targeted.
Oh, I got as far as your quality of food.
Exactly.
And do you think that's the case because is that still like again like a military town that you're in that kind of like everybody knows in a sense everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's the thing about it. It wasn't just in the military area, it was outside of that as well, of what I was experiencing. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of, it's very weird.
So let me ask you this. So as far as your like, how can I say this? As far as how you express yourself, your unique expression of Boy Crazy, you said that you're a feminine gay man. So is it your feminine energy that you feel that kind of unfortunately warrants people to be like, oh, this nigga here, bro, let me do you think that could be the reason for it as far as like your experiences with queerness?
No, I don't I don't think that's the case. I come with a lot, me being queer. I come with a lot. I come with 2 degrees, and I'm a U.S. Army veteran.
Right.
That's dangerous for any black man. That's dangerous for any black gay man.
Elaborate on that more for us as far as
to have all of that. So, you got to understand, a lot of people don't like it when, like, especially a lot of heterosexual men, our men in our own black community, they are, a lot of them are haters. A lot of them are. When they see, the non-traditional man do, do a little bit better. Or not, I'm trying to say I'm better or I'm doing better. But I'm saying when we, are doing what we need to do. Because, they have a vision. Oh, no, y'all supposed to be here.
Right.
Y'all
So it's kind of like basically what you're saying. Basically what you're saying is kind of like, how dare y'all try to ascend? How dare y'all try to grow and to be better? And how dare y'all do it in our spaces? Like, again, you're a black man who happens to be queer in the military who has masters and also has a title within it. So it's kind of like, how dare you? It's kind of like you would think that me having those credentials, there would be some sort of respect there.
Right, exactly.
Because if you were going to a place as a civilian, if you were going to an IHOP, if you were going to a McDonald's, if you were going someplace and you let them know that you're a military vet, basically, they would tell you, oh, thank you for your service. There's a level of respect there. But now that I'm getting cold fries.
Exactly.
You would think with the title, nigga, that's thank you for service. Shit. Make sure his fries, my fries should be fresh, bitch.
Exactly.
My burger should be juicy as fuck, girl. But it's like, I'm getting all this stuff. Like, wow.
Because and I also think that it is a discrimination against the different veteran statuses. I do. I think for people who, fought in the World War I and II and, all the other, those battles and those wars, and the ones who are respected, I think that they have an issue with people of my veteran status. You see what I'm saying? The ones that didn't have to do so much. You see what I'm saying? I think
Right.
that's
So
where
they
it
feel like
comes
you're
in.
not worthy of it because you haven't put in the
Exactly.
blood, the sweat, and tears. It's
Exactly.
just a title and it's just a label that you. What's up, Dr. Nakumbe? What's going
Exactly.
on? It's I be saying it's really Dr. I know they pronounce it another way, so please forgive me, doctor. Please forgive me, doctor. And it's crazy how you came in here because there's also something that you want to speak to, Boy Crazy, in reference to a panel that I was on.
Yeah.
That we kind of was speaking about queerphobia, and there were certain things that were said or mentioned.
From Trey and
that kind of
BMU.
I guess kind of raised your eyebrows. So what was that?
So one of the things that I disagreed with Trey on a lot is he said that there is a don't ask, don't tell policy. There's not a don't ask, don't tell policy. Well, it's an underlying. No, it's a policy, but no, it's not really it's a culture that still goes on.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Even though there are laws that put in place that are supposed to be able to protect queer people and allow queer people the same statuses of equality to be able to serve in an equal way, there is still this unspoken kind of like culture where it's kind of like, again, because with your story that you shared in the beginning, it seemed like everything was cool until you divulged that you went out on your weekend with another dude, and now all of a sudden all this weird shit starts happening to me. Like, this wasn't happening. It'd be different if I was reporting all this shit in the beginning. Like, if I'm in basic training and I'm like, oh my God, people are trying to kill me, you would be like, yeah, you ain't gonna survive. If I was in the gas chamber, how I'm gonna have paranoia and be put in the damn gas chamber? You would think I would freak the fuck out before I go in there because I know what's gonna happen. So if I'm able to face the paranoia, girl, you ought to sight me off in the beginning. But it's just.
Yeah,
I know what you mean, and that's what I mean about covert and racism and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It becomes covert. It wants to be overt again. It wants to have the legal right to be overt again.
Yeah.
Which is why people do shit on the back end. People do shit through the system. People do shit in a slighted type of way to where it's kind of like, again, it's a really narcissistic and gaslighting type of thing. And like I said in the beginning of the live, I'm glad that everybody knows these words: narcissism, knows accountability, give all their different perspectives and opinions and perspective. That's cool. 2024 is gonna be the year where we gonna walk all that shit out.
Yep.
To actually walk it the fuck out. And that's what's gonna happen. Like I said, it's growing. It wants to become overt again. And it's really sad. It's really, really sad because this is the military we're talking about here.
Yeah.
This is a part of America that has the most funding in reference to defending the country. And America, I'm just gonna be honest, girl, we assholes, girl. We are narcissistic assholes, bitch. We think we are number one, that God has exempt us, girl, and all that type of shit. So if you want to find shit, if the military on your ass, girl, pray. Because it's about to rain down hellfire. You would think that we have all these things in place. If I have situations that are happening in my life that I'm telling y'all about, and y'all not willing to even try to figure it out and to even see what's going on and tell me, well, we can't do anything. If something keeps happening to me, I would hope that someone who was competent would be like, you know what? Come on, bro, show me what's going on, because I'm tired of you coming down here. I'm tired of you fucking up my lunch break with your bullshit. But they didn't. They didn't. And it's just like, it's crazy. And there are going to be some people who are going to listen to the playback who are thinking that you're lying, who are going to think that you're making this up, to think that, oh, well, the queer people, they mentally ill. They just sit around and make up shit and blame heterosexual people for it. It's like the fact that you're still willing to share your story. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Now, I wish that we could have had some objective like pictures and videos and stuff to help validate it, just to shut them up, because they're going to take it and run with it.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because again, you're sharing your experience and your story of what's going on, and you're establishing. I think what would kind of be dope too is, I wish there was like some sort of like support group on Facebook or something with LGBT people in the military, for them to share their experiences and for them to talk about like some of their experiences of queerphobia. I would
Yeah.
love to live in a world where there's no queerphobia. I would
Yeah.
love that the fact that I have a boyfriend or a partner is not going to end up being the sermon for next Sunday's, message or whatever. Like, I would
Right.
love for there to be a world where we can just simply just be ourselves in a respectful manner,
Right.
but still be able to be ourselves. And we can't, especially when we are sitting here trying, in your case, literally putting your life on the line or trying to figure out how to put your life on the line. And also how the military has no problem taking in youth that does not have any sort of affirmation, because they're already primed and ready to be broken down anyway, because they're already broken.
Yeah.
So now they can just break them down further and turn them into machines. And then when the people who do become vets because they did serve, they can't even get any sort of ample living or any sort of ample help after the fact, and actually have like institutions put in place to help break down the soldier or help the soldier to reintegrate back into civilian life in a beautiful, fruitful, healthy way that benefits him and benefits society. So it's just wow. But anything else you want to share that you said you heard on the panel? Because you said as far as the don't ask, don't tell, like we understand culturally it's still there. The laws may change, the energy is the same. Queerphobia is there. They already see queer men as weak anyway. So the fact that these weak men want to be a part of the military, it's like we're gonna have to work five times as hard to prove ourselves.
Yes.
So
And so Trey, he said that about the don't ask, don't tell. He was talking about stoicism is a masculine trait. I disagree wholeheartedly with that. There's a lot of females who are way more braver than men. I've seen it time and time again. There where it'll be a little boy running from a fucking spider, okay, screaming like a little girl, and a girl is like hush, and just saves it or captures it or whatever, and just lets it off in the wild. I've seen that plenty of times. So you're talking about stoicism as being a male only trait. I disagree. Women are extremely stoic. They do it every single day. A lot of these single mothers, they do it every single day. You don't think that's stoicism?
Yeah. That's why I say, like, really, these terms of masculine and feminine, I think if we could find a way to look at it through the lens of energy, it would help out so much. Because just like to your point, and even I said on the panel when we talked about the whole stoic thing, like when they think of stoicism, they think of men don't cry. Men are just, they never cry. They're just, oh, if I can turn off my emotions, I can, or whatever. Like, if you are in a situation where your life is on the line, a lot of men are going to cry. Even Scarface has a song said, "I never seen a man cry until I seen a man die. Death will humble your ass, girl." Okay? But I think what is stoic is the fact of embracing the fear, not turning the emotion off, but embracing the fear, because now it heightens your awareness. Like, for example, with the Navy SEALs, one thing I love about the Navy SEALs, or one of their, I guess, mottos in reference to like combat, is that any and everything can be turned into a weapon if you know how to use it. So if you embrace the fear, you become more aware, you're more alert. That can help you. So when you talk about black women also being able to tap into their stoic energy, which is innately in them, the culture says it's not, but energetically, spiritually, indigenously, it's innately in them because they're a human being. Is the reason why they can sit up there and raise 2, 3, 4 kids on their own, and then being told because you have 3 kids, guess what? Your ass is undesirable. Your ass is trash. Your ass is not worth it. Or nobody's going to fucking marry you. But I'm taking care of these kids. I have a cousin now who had 3 sons both of their sons are happily married. The other one, he's turned 21, so he kind of still young. But
Right.
the other two sons, who are twins, they're both married. They both graduated from, I think it was some sort of school here in Michigan that's kind of like prestigious. They graduated from there, have children. Their marriages are going good. So despite how despite the quality of life outside of you, or the area where you live in, or the environment that you live in, if you have ample love and support, it doesn't matter the environment. You will always grow and transcend and become better. So I think that's the issue that I think I'm having in these conversations about masculinity and being a man and all this stuff. It is these very archaic type of ways of thinking, these very like caveman ways of thinking. And we give credit to the caveman because according to them, what they're saying, girl, I could be lying. I'm not lying, but I could be wrong. But they invented the stone wheel and shit. So if it wasn't for previous people before us or previous generations before us, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we do have to give honor and reverence to those before us. But at the same time, things are growing and evolving and changing. And if you're not growing and evolving and changing, you're the one that's stagnant. You're the one, and that's why there's so much fear there, because it's a fear of letting go, or whatever the case may be. So the fact that a lot of these men try to claim these things to be something exclusively male, that's false. It's an energy thing. It's in man and woman. It's in male and female. There's still a connection there. It's just another expression of it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. I was looking at my phone real quick.
Okay.
Was there anything else from the panel that kind of
so BMU, he pretty much had talked about how I remember he was saying that there are a lot of ex-military who are trying to kill the trans community for trying to with the bathroom situation. And I thought that was quite interesting when he said that, because when I had that training, right? Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. And I had that training. I just remember it was a whole bunch of people with negative attitudes that were in the Army. It got to a point where somebody else who was in the Army had to raise up, because it was this man. He was like, no, I don't like the transgenders. I don't care about the transgenders. I don't think that they should be in the same bathroom as me or as my wife and my little daughter and blah, 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 blah. He just got up and he just said, hey, it's not about how you feel. This is simply about learning. We're trying to learn about the process it takes to be transgender and what that looks like in the military. So without further ado, I appreciate it, but, please save it. Please move on. Let's move on.
So I'm sorry, I just got to put a pin here. I'm so sorry. But when you said that, and now you said that was the beginning of your basic training, right? Before it started, right? No,
not basic training. This was the transgender training that remember I told you that.
Yeah. And you said you only had one time. Yeah.
Right.
So my thing is if there are policies put in place which have to include queer people now, not just we have the verbiage to just say that we're inclusive, but to actually show it in action consistently and consecutively. Here it is. I'm an individual who is explaining about my experience after I told one of my section chiefs about my orientation and all this weird stuff is happening. You would think that there would be some sort of investigation, or there would be some sort of okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and look into this. Because again, if you're giving a meeting saying it's not about how you feel, it's about learning about what transness look. So in that meeting, what did he explain to everybody, or what was he trying to convey to everybody? What the military's view on transness looks like?
Okay, right. So it was not him explaining what was going on. Right. He was just a person that was shutting the other person down.
Okay,
saying,
so the person that was explaining the person who was leading the meeting, shall I say? Who were they?
Who were they? They were I don't really know what their title was, but I just know that they were it was a lot of them. It was like a group of them, and they were just pretty much talking about that the military does not help with cosmetic surgeries for like trying to get like
okay
certain like things for like but they do help with hormonal therapy and all like the different tests that have to go on, the different evaluations, because you got a psych evaluation, then you have to do a physical, and it's a long drawn out process. Not I don't want to say a like as you have to do one single. It's multiple, like it's streams of them that you have to do in order for them to say, okay, this you've made your mind up. We already see the results. All right, now we can move forward.
So let me ask you this: like, I understand like them explaining the whole process thing, which no shade if that was the case, because in context, I guess I can understand why that dude said I don't care about trans or whatever, because he was like, this does not pertain to me, so why do I have to sit here and listen to this? So like that aspect, as far as like for someone who is trans, that probably would have been better to like have that conversation with individuals who are trans, so that they can let them know like, hey, these are the things that we do as far as like cosmetic surgery. We don't cover that, but as far as hormonal therapy and stuff like that, like we would show in some way that we're affirming you. In that meeting, was there any sort of like protocol put in place to establish what like respect looks like, or like how you should treat a trans person? Was there anything in there about some sort of like education about how to conduct yourself, especially if you're going to be in the military, when it comes down to queer people, trans in particular?
Yeah, so I had a sergeant major who he pretty much was like, I mean, it wasn't, I don't think it was completely in the presentation, but he just said it out of his mouth. He just said, you have to understand that trans, people do exist. They are going to be on our team fighting with us. And we have to understand that, we have to respect that, and we have to get with the times. Like he literally said that to he was like, you don't have to like it, but you do, you will respect it. Under me, you will. Is what he said.
So was there anybody there who happened, because you said there was a group there, and I'm sorry to cut you off, it's fine. I'm just picking your brain now.
Yeah.
As far as the group of people, was there anybody there who did identify themselves as trans?
No, absolutely
so
not.
These were these male and female, men and women, like?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So these were heterosexual people who were just explaining to them that going forward we need to respect queer people, in particular trans, in their experience, because they're a part of the military and they also have the capacity to serve just like the rest of you. So
exactly.
was there any like room for like the people in the group who may have any negative feelings to like speak their truth and then like find a way to help deal with that? Because it just seems like, again, with it being so stoic, it's more of a like shut the fuck up and do what I say type of thing.
Exactly. It was more so
as opposed to like actually trying to break it down so there can be some sort of camaraderie. Because again, if this queer person is in your section with you and we are at war, that is the person that you're going to have to depend on.
Yeah.
And that person is going to have to depend on you. So with that being said, why not work through the stuff? They didn't implement anything to like create a space for there to be some sort of like dialogue. Like for example, Dr. Nakumbe, shout out to him. He's in the chat. Like for a Dr. Nakumbe to be in there to kind of be like a conflict resoluter, a resolutionist.
It wasn't anything like that.
So it's basically just like a standard, just look, we just doing this shit. We don't really give a fuck about queer people either, but because we under the military, we gotta do what the fuck they say. And since we gotta do what the fuck they say, y'all gotta do what the fuck we say. And we say that going forward, y'all openly ain't gonna disrespect queer trans people. Because I don't want to fill out the paperwork. I don't want to deal with the bullshit. Now, behind closed doors, I don't give a fuck. Because I don't know what's going on. Because I'm busy. But as far as in my face and openly to where I can get in trouble, to where I can have something done to me, me be reprimanded, I'm going to whoop your ass.
Yeah. Basically, it was that culture. So it's not the fact that they actually gave a damn. It was more so, okay, you know.
Just let's get this shit over with. That's why it was only one meeting and not multiple.
Exactly. That part. And I don't know if it even happened after I left.
And why? Okay, if they're having the trans, was that a meeting that they were having with all of the platoons as far as that, or was it just yours in particular?
All of them.
Okay, so they were just doing their rounds. Okay, I got you. They were just doing their rounds. Okay.
Right.
So let me ask you this: as a person who has had experience, military experience, technically, with you being queer, would you suggest that queer people, unless they're supremely patriotic, girl, and low-key want to do Call of Duty in real life, girl, unless you want to go do some real shit, girl, and work your way up through the ranks and be on different type of goddamn Bravo teams and fucking shit up, girl,
right.
But for like the regular everyday average queer person, right, would you suggest them to go into the military? Why or why not?
The thing about it is, I'm not going to just because I had the experience, it does not mean that they're going to have that same experience. So I would, so what I would say is, if they want to do it, go ahead by all means. But one thing I would tell a queer person: please do your research. Please have a connection. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, don't go in not knowing what's going on. Don't make a hasty decision. Don't not do no research. Make sure you understand the culture. You understand what you're getting yourself into. You have support. Like, all this is good to have, because if not, you'll wind up having a same, who's to say I could have been the next Vanessa again, but just a gay man.
So
you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
you're right. You're absolutely right in your response. I guess let me put it this way then, because now you said all that and it made me want to rethink my question. Or rephrase it. So, do you think it would be wise for queer people, if they were to go into the military, that it would probably be just an easier time to just don't mention anything about queerness? If somebody asks you if you had a date, if you went on a date or whatever, just be like, nope, I'm good. Like, just shut it down. Just don't even, if they try to be inquisitive about who you're dating or trying to get in your personal life in reference to sexuality or gender identity, whatever the case may be, to just be like, I'd rather not talk about that. Do you think it would be wise for them to do that? To
no.
be quiet? Okay.
One of the reasons why I don't think so is because, let's say, for instance, you got a Facebook or you got an Instagram or you got something like that, and you put all, the pictures, oh, I'm gay, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. I honestly do believe that the military finds out a lot about that well before. You see what I'm saying? And, because they have to tap into your whole background. They have to. So that might have happened as well. I don't know, I really don't know what happened, but that might have happened.
Right. I understand that the military, and this is just me, no shade, I'm just saying, like, the military, especially nowadays, they're broadening recruiting people because they desperately need people in reference to the defense of this country. Yes. So they're willing to take anything. But I'm talking more so about, like, I could understand us preparing ourselves for warfare and being stoic and all that type of shit, and being strategic and working with emotional intelligence in very stressful situations where our lives are on the line. That's completely different. Yes, that's a different element. You have to adapt to that. But I'm talking about for like queer people in the military who simply are in like civilian spaces or like quarters with their fellow platoon members. Like, for them to, would it be wise for them to be themselves around during that time? Like the time where we should be building, the time we should be connecting, the time where we should be getting to know each other. Like, do you think it would be wise for queer people to open up in that area?
I think,
just using your experience,
honestly,
because like
I think it's very selective. I think to certain people it goes well for, and for others it just don't. I'm just one of the ones it didn't go so well for, you know, because there's some that thrive.
Yeah.
There's some that thrive. I knew someone who was actually into drag racing. You know, and I knew, but you know, the thing is, of course, you know, the race is different, you know, because he was white, but still, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's selective. It's selective. It's a lot of selective homophobia that goes on. Oh, we like this gay, but we don't like that guy. You see what I'm saying?
So since you put it like that, let me rephrase the question. Because what I really want to establish here is because, again, I'm also thinking outside the box with my questions as well.
Okay.
Because I know that people are going to look at this, and I'm really just trying to cross as many checks off as I can. So, do you think it would be wise for a queer person who is black to be open? And to your point, like you said, I really do believe that no matter what the answer is, you're going to just have to, individually, people are just going to have to just see and find out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with we knowing how the culture is, not just in the military based off of your experience and not just yours, others as well, but just the way that a lot of masculinity or this supremacist masculinity is trying to reemerge and trying to, you know, have dominance over everything. Like, it's kind of getting more dangerous for people to genuinely be who they are.
Yeah.
Like, again, your story, like, if we are so evolved, if we have grown so much, why is it like little micro stuff that's going on? And I will say this to the queer people, at this point where I'm getting in my life, if certain people want to play the game with you, play the game with their ass.
Yeah.
If this is how, if we are in Rome and this is what the fuck the Romans do, let's do it. Didn't Jesus say, render up to Caesar's what is Caesar's and what God is God's, girl? So at this point, we're going to play that game. But then it's like, I wonder what would happen if we start to play that game and play that game better than them.
Yeah.
Because again, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
You did the correct thing. You didn't do any of the ratchet thing. You didn't match energy with energy.
Yeah, because I could have.
But then you were thinking like, okay, if I do that, I feel like I'm giving them a reason, and now they feel validated.
Exactly.
In their response to me, because I'm operating in what they want. So I go ahead and do the right thing. I go through the proper channels. I do the proper protocols. I thought I was being moved somewhere else just to have me move from another section, but in the same goddamn location with these people. All this other type of stuff, and just not even it, just throughout this whole lie from the beginning, with the fact of you being queer and just the fear that was immediately there.
Yeah.
And then in the military, again, we're very progressive. We're getting with the times, but yet there's wigs being left around. There's the word fag being carved into shit. My room has all type of dust and debris in it. My shoes being crunched the fuck up. And in the military, ain't they kind of like sticklers for like being neat and shit being creased right and shit being made right? So here it is, you fucking up my shit. So my sergeant, my leader can come in and be like, nigga, what the fuck you doing in this room, bruh? You know how the fuck these corners supposed to be in this damn bed, bitch? What's going? Your shoes is dirty as hell and they creased up, crunched up. Ain't they supposed to be shiny with no scuffs or marks on them? And it's happening to me.
Right. And by shoes, I mean my personal shoes, not their shoes. No. Yeah, their shoes. their shoes only had like a scuff on them. Like it didn't. Yeah.
Oh, so y'all don't want to fuck with the military shit, but fuck with my shit. Okay, that's even worse. I'd rather you fuck with. Damn, you ain't gonna fuck with your own shit.
Basically,
Damn.
yeah.
But I mean, just that experience. So for people who are queer, who are in the military, like, again, like was shared with BoyCr8z'z, like, make sure you know what you're getting yourself into.
Definitely.
Like, you better look at these motherfucking documentaries they have on YouTube. They got
Yeah.
all type of basic training, whatever branch you want to go in. This is what the fuck you're going to get yourself into. I just want there to be more inclusion in reference to queer people.
Exactly.
And not in the fact of, oh, it's a queer person in the ranks. Let me sleep with a Bible, you know, in my pants because I'm afraid they're going to try to stick something in my butt. You know what I'm saying? Or just some weird shit. Like, this is also the person that you're going to have to build a rapport with if things go fucking south. So it's like, if we really gonna talk about inclusion and it's the times, I just want people to really walk it out. But you're right. There's a lot of people who are ex-military who are very ex-queer. Even on BMU, when they brought up that Facebook group about the twinkle farts, all those men were white men who had military background training. There are white men right now that got AR-15s and all that shit, and they're learning military shit to become militant. To where they're like, okay, we're going to get ready to go ahead and take these people out. But what makes it dangerous is that in the black community, black people don't even really give a fuck about black people at large anymore to where we kill them. So what would happen if a bunch of stoic ass, toxic masculine ass black men said, and they followed the whole lineage or the whole expression of Russell White in reference to the whole Santana situation? We as straight men need to come together and gay bash the fuck out that punk. What's stopping that from happening?
Nothing.
So it's kind of like, I'm really doing what I can to like have these conversations or to bring context and nuance, but then it's like historically oppressed groups of people have always been doing that, and I feel like we need to get to a point that we need to do something different. Which is why your story and your voices are very important and they have power. So the fact that you are willing to like come up on my platform and share your story with us, I feel honored, and I want more queer people to do that because they will continue to control the narrative until we start really standing up for ourselves, not just with our words, but also with our actions and our fists, if need be. Because the fact that the queerphobia is happening in all aspects of life, and especially in America, it's happening in the military, it's happening in the government, it's happening in the culture, it's happening in the communities, all different types of communities, and they're all fear-based. But then when it's time for us to face our fear together, when we have a common enemy or foe, all of a sudden, you now know how to remove. Oh, I guess you're being stoic then. I'm sorry. I guess you're being stoic then. Well, if that stoicism, that level of stoicism is very narcissistic, if it only benefits you, it needs to benefit the whole. So
absolutely.
But is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
For Trey's point, as far as toxic masculinity doesn't exist, it does. I'm here to tell you, it does. There is a such thing as toxic. It's not just masculine. No, it's a such thing as toxic masculinity as well,
or a toxic perception, of masculinity. Because to your point, on Trey's point, he did say something that I did agree with. He did say that even though he felt like there's no toxic masculinity or femininity, it's just toxic people. But what happens is those toxic people, because they're toxic, has a toxic viewpoint and a toxic perception, a toxic lens. And when they look at masculinity, their form of masculinity becomes toxic. And what's happening is that a lot of men are starting to subscribe to that toxic narrative. That toxic lens. So it's like, yes, if you are not a man or a human being, shall I say, because really it's a human being thing. If you're not a human being who is trying to balance your masculine and feminine energy, the yin to your yang inside of you, instead of pussy outside of you, but actually internally inside of you, then you will be able to have a higher awareness and understanding of certain things. because a lot of times when we have these conversations or when I go on these platforms, and it's so crazy because I preface my stuff by saying that I'm nervous. I be saying the emotional stuff in the beginning and it goes over people's heads, but the only thing they hear is, "Oh, I'm coming with the smoke," and I intentionally say that last. So basically you wouldn't listen to me the whole time. You just listen to trigger words or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like with these conversations, I really be trying to find gray areas. That's why I be inviting people on my platform, whether you agree, you disagree, whatever, so that I can understand better, so that I can do better. And I would just wish these other platforms would be gracious enough to be able to invite queer people onto their platforms to have these conversations and not turn it into debates.
Yeah.
Because again, you were sharing things tonight that a lot of people can say that's alleged, that can be I don't know if it's substantial. I don't know if that's the right word, but basically it's just alleged. You know what I'm saying? And even the way that I'm treating it is going to be alleged, but I'm not going to sit up here and say, "Oh, you're lying." I'm going to honor your experience and your story, because there are other people who have similar experiences as you, and everybody can't be lying.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And everybody's story is alleged. I mean, especially if you don't know or you haven't seen it or you haven't seen the proof of it. So I understand your viewpoint and I appreciate that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what being objective really is, because even with me, when I shared that I was never sexually abused, I had a father in my life who were equally showing up when inception happened all the way up till now, you know, in my adult years or whatever. And there were people who literally were saying that I was lying. Like, "Oh, you're lying." Like, and it'd be like, how can I prove that to y'all?
Yeah, you can't.
But it's like, but that's the thing, is like, but that's what I mean when it's fear-based.
Yeah.
It's fear-based. Like, people don't even want to deal with what we can objectively see, but then the shit that we don't see, it's just weird to me. It's just very weird to me. And it's kind of like that weirdness is creating subsections, because just like with and we don't get to the comments because I do want you to share your thoughts as well. I don't know how much time you have. You have to leave and go soon?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. Because you know how Bubz can be. You know what I'm saying? But girl, what was I gonna say? I hate when this happened. I hate when this. Oh yeah, the whole concept with gangs. Like, originally in the black community, the Bloods and Crips were created to protect gangs. I mean, to protect the neighborhood. I'm sorry, protect the neighborhood, to protect the community. Now those gangs have been basically perverted or turned inside out or given a false narrative. And look at where it is now. There are smaller subsections of groups of Bloods, Crips. There's so many of them because there is no structure. There is no community there. That same thing is happening in the black community at large, as far as, oh, the heterosexual people want nothing to do with the queer people, and the queer people don't want nothing to do with the heterosexual people. And it's like, we're fucking human beings. We need to find a way to actually integrate and not segregate. We need to segregate our thoughts.
Yeah.
We need to, because at the end of the day, like, I feel like you can have a nation that is unique in their own expressions, but can collectively at large still understand that they're a country. I mean, not a country, a continent within these nations. Like, we're all in this together. No Zac Efron. So it's like when we have these conversations and we start off with, "Oh, you're lying" and stuff, we're being disingenuous. And what we're doing now is we're learning all these words that people who know what these words really mean and what it looks like in action are saying, but they just try to flip it and use it in this false ass way that's very cringeworthy. It's like, again, okay, practice what you preach, because in 2024, girl, it's going to be a lot of walking it out. Y'all seeing niggas being exposed right now who had money, power, and privilege, the supreme recipe in the viewpoint of the toxic masculinity. Money, power, respect, and all that equals pussy. All that's going to change, because now, girl, I was going to say something really crazy. I'm sorry. That's just me. Is there anything else that you wanted to share from the platform that kind of spoke to you before we get into the comments?
No, I think that's pretty much good. I think I pretty much hit on everything. And I also appreciate Trey's viewpoint. on that he doesn't like queer. So
Yes,
I
yes.
I could appreciate that.
Yes,
he,
I like that too.
he verbalized that, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that because that lets me know he's real just for that.
Yes, and that's also what I want other
A lot of
black
people can't do that.
heterosexual men to just say.
Right.
Just say,
A
you
lot of
know
people
what?
can't do that.
Just say. And for me, like I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of realities are being destroyed right now, or the false realities are being destroyed. Everybody is emotional and being over emotional to where it's like, oh, don't trigger me. If you trigger me, I won't be able to handle it. No, even the people who are triggered gonna have to learn how to heal from the triggers.
Definitely.
So even me, I don't mind having politically incorrect conversations.
Right.
I'm very strategic in how I do it. I don't operate on your time, bitch. I operate on the time of truth, and that might mean waiting sometimes.
Yeah.
Patience is a virtue, and I'm
It
starting
is.
to learn that shit all the time. So it's kind of like, girl, I really just want to say what I want to say, but I be trying to really not say it because,
I mean, you can. I mean, hey.
no, I'm strategic. I'm waiting for when I have to say what I have to say.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm smart with how I respond and how I play. I don't play
Right.
checkers.
No hasty
I play
decisions. Right.
chess, but I can also play Uno. And the way that my hand looking right now, I got so many damn draw fours, draw twos, bitch, reverse Unos, skips in my shit. I'm just waiting and seeing what's going on. Because one thing that I felt like I've done that I didn't know until I look in retrospect is that for this past year and a half, 2 years, I've literally been establishing what queerphobia looks like in many different spaces. And that platform, who invited me there twice, and to be honest, more, because I got a DM yesterday to come to a live that I wasn't even qualified to speak on. Why would you want me to have to come on a live that I'm not qualified to speak on, especially if I'm a mentally ill person? Y'all think I'm just gonna be y'all entertainment? Hell no, nigga. Y'all gotta work smarter than that.
Yeah.
But I went on the platform and I established what queerphobia looks like, but at the same time, I'm still being strategic about how toxic masculinity works, because there comes a point, and even some of the men over there on the platform said it, that when it comes down to men will get to a point to where they don't want to talk anymore. They want to actually walk out actions in reference to physical altercations and assault.
Yeah.
And as a queer person, with me growing up being bullied and stuff like that, that's one thing that I don't play about. I will become mentally ill when it comes down to self-defense. I will lose my mind and not have any discrimination against anybody, baby, or better yet, all discrimination against everybody who tries to put their hands on me.
Yeah.
And when I was invited there a third time to have the conversation after listening to their recap of the live that I did the second time, which you were speaking on, they wanted to jump out the screen at me.
Yeah.
They wanted to do all these things to me, but at the same time, when I was there, girl, they was laughing and kikiing and cacan and all that stuff in my face, and I held my own or whatever. I just don't want this to get into a dangerous situation. And it's sad because when queer people start speaking the truth, we also see what happens to those truth tellers, especially if they're queer. Look over in Africa. Before the whole Uganda gays, kill the gays bill was enacted, they had all types of books and magazines of queer activists and their names and where they lived and where they worked and where their family lived and stuff. A lot of them have been unalived. Like, this shit can be scary. It's like, again, it's the whole shut up and do what I say.
Yeah.
And what queer people are going to have to accept, that when the price of freedom is literally going to be your life.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the one thing that queer people, especially black queer people and my trans sisters, I think needs to really start taking seriously.
Yeah.
Like, if you are a queer person in this world today, you need to find a way to defend yourself.
Definitely.
You have to. It is imperative.
Yeah.
I would never sit up here and think and believe that because I'm even with me being a black man, I've never been in trouble with the law. I don't have no rap sheet. I don't have hoes in different area codes. I don't have 5, 6 baby mamas. I have a good head on my shoulders. Even growing up, I've had adults say to me, I wish my kids acted like your kids because your kids are just so amazing to my parents. I am a good black man who is intelligent,
Right.
who is trying to grow every day in his own life, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and stuff like that. But that does not make me exempt from becoming a hashtag.
Exactly. I said the same exact thing. And I said, in 2024, if Trump becomes president, hopefully, not. But if he does, we might have more hashtags coming,
And guess what?
And
if that's going to be the case, girl, it ain't going to just be us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It ain't going to be us. And that's the sad part because from what I've been hearing in these YouTube spaces, because again, I'm strategic. I listen. And I listen to everything that's being said.
Yep.
Okay, I have a master's degree in nosology too. Shout out to my teacher. but with me listening and stuff, like, it seems like the only way for men to be masculine or to be a real man is to be assertive or to be dominant, or how Professor Odie says, to subjugate something.
Yeah.
There's this whole thing of where people are saying, girl, bitch, shut the fuck up, bitch. Shut up. I'm tired of your nagging. I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. I pay the goddamn bills. I make sure your ass eat. I make sure your children eat and all this shit. If I want to come in home late, I'm going to come home late. If I want to get a little pussy on the side, bitch, I'm going to get a little pussy on the side. What you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? That type of thing. I don't really hear a lot of black men, especially black men who are married, who are talking about love. Well, I ain't gonna lie, there are some. There are some, because my parents one of them. But on these platforms, I don't really hear a lot of men who are married talking about how to work through the marriage. We talk about divorces and statistics and all this stuff. Yeah. Are we asking ourselves the question on how this shit came about? No. We don't care about the details. And shout out to Jack Reacher, bitch. Season 2 is amazing. You have to pay attention to the details. That's how people get fucked. Yeah. Is they don't pay attention to the details. So queer people, pay attention to the details. Black people, pay attention to the details. Because if you don't, girl, we're going to be reading about your ass in the details of what the fuck happened to you. And if I'm going to read about your ass, girl, I'd rather read a queer person survives they attack, girl, 5 motherfuckers gone, bitch.
Yeah.
Come on. So we have to be more.
Yeah, and community is important. Like, yes. We have to establish community.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that I've always felt like I've lacked. And your platform and your channel helps to, reel it in for me. It helps to, really help me to understand that I'm not alone. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And that's what I appreciate, and that's why I do, tune into your channel more so as to other channels, because it's talking about real things. It's not talking about, and like various topics it's talking about. It's not just talking about just one thing on one thing. And I like that, and I appreciate it, and I can tell you're doing you. You're very intelligent, and I'm thankful for this opportunity. Hopefully, you're not the only opportunity I get. Hopefully, I meet someone else. I could also speak about that, and but I just thought that
I'm gonna get to
your channel and your platform, I just thought that I might break the ice. Because I've been going through this for like a long time. Like, this hasn't. It's been since December 2021 is when this has been occurring. Yeah. Yeah. Of like with the thought, that I've been holding this in. So this is like therapeutic, and this is something that I'm thankful for. So. But other than that, I don't have anything else too much to really talk about. I believe I've covered the major parts that I could cover. But yeah, for the most part, I'm discharged honorably, and I am living my life. Yeah.
It's golden.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for such the kind words, and even for me, these past 2 days have been like very affirmational for me, both online and off. So the fact that you said that, it just really reminds me that I'm doing what needs to be done, that I'm on the right path, that
Yeah.
even though I can be very hard on myself because I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm missing out on something, or I need to do something else, just to know that what I'm doing is enough.
Yeah.
And the fact that my platform was able to help inspire you to look deeper within yourself, to really enhance the God that's already in you, that other people were afraid to see or did not know how to see it. So the fact that you were able to find it in yourself and you're growing in that evolution, it makes my heart smile. And that's what I want for other queer people, especially queer people of color. We are worthy of love. We are worthy to be of respect. We're worthy of manifesting our best life despite what others think, believe, or ignorantly and through fear are making a choice to believe. But to be honest and objective, and shout out to Dr. Nakumbe, because he also was able to hold me accountable about these conversations. So I even appreciate that. I don't come over there with like, oh, I'm always right. It's like, no, I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right.
But I'm also here to learn.
Exactly.
So even with that, even on that platform, that same way you find therapy and you find a place where you can just be yourself, they offer that same energy to the other men over there too. Because again, I listen to the conversations, and when because I even did a live where I was kind of giving them their roses. I was like, okay, this is shit we could talk. This is shit I wish we could talk about, but I feel like we're not gonna be able to talk about because we haven't worked through the queer shit yet. Because if I bring experiences about me being black and being queer, then it's like, well, why are you bringing the queer shit in? Because it's also my experience.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like those men are building community, and they do have value to bring to the black community. I'm not demonizing them as individuals and saying that they're horrible as people.
Right.
All I'm saying is that when it comes down to queerness, they are ignorant. And if you're making the choice to be ignorant about queer people, then also accept the fact that you are homophobic. Yeah. Just like I have to accept the fact that in your viewpoint, I'm a fag, I'm a sissy. Yeah. I was told that I want to be a woman. Yeah. I was told that, I should have ovaries now, should be bleeding to buy tampons and a Snickers and Midol and shit because I'm going to need it. You know what I mean? I'm being told all of these things. Yeah. But it's like we have to find a way to have, and Black Man said it on a live a few days ago that really was like, I agree with that. I wish you would have walked that out on the platform with the queer people, because there was only 3 people on that platform that I qualified, that I saw to be qualified to have the conversation. But he said what's happening, the reason why these conversations go in circles all the time, or they end up getting quote unquote derailed, or we start exploring context and nuance, but we don't have no secure anchor to bring it all back together in a circle or to complete it. These conversations never become productive because there are, and this is the golden thing he said, there are people who are not qualified to have the conversation, having the conversation. And I clapped. I was working out when I stopped and clapped. I said, yes, yes, yes. Now can we walk that out? Because I'm not going to do a live or come to a live about being a stepdad when I don't have kids. I can give context and nuance because I'm able to learn, but I'm not qualified to speak on that. Yeah. So if I am aware that I'm not able to speak on things and I'm not qualified for, why do a lot of heterosexual people feel that they have the right to speak about queer people with more as if though we don't understand what's going on with our own experience? Exactly.
Like I was saying the same exact thing. Like
how?
I would not be able to talk about a woman's experience. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not a woman, so I can't say like, oh yeah, these are the struggles that they're going through, and this and that. I don't know, you know. I'm not a representative for them, so I would never be able. Like, it's the same thing that I've been saying. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, look, we just learning.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but do you want to stay to read some of the comments, or do you want me to go ahead and let you go? Because you have been here for almost 3 hours. How you feeling?
Yeah, we could read the comments. That's fine.
Okay, let's go. Cause shout out Dr. Nakumbe. Okay, I feel like y'all, Dr. Nakumbe could be a link. If Dr. Nakumbe work StreamYard and get his YouTube channel together, I don't mind having a conversation about queerness on his platform, because at least I know he's going to be objective and fair, because he does this in real life. Like when I did my interview with him, or a conversation with him, shall I say, not interview, but conversation with him, like his credentials, 20 plus years, he does panels in real life, like in niggas' faces and shit.
Yeah.
It's easy to say shit in the comfort of your own room, girl, but you gonna say that in the public square? Are you gonna do that? But and even just the past few lives that he's done, where he's kind of been the facilitator of conversations, even when it got difficult and tough, like he could have chose to react, because he's a comedian like myself, so I know it's in there. I know the read and the shade is in there, but how he does it, it was just like very commendable. So it's kind of like, if there was one person that I would like nominate to be like a mediator, or to be a person who's kind of the neutral head in the group, or for the conversation, would definitely be him. So shout out to him. Let me see. Deshaun says, I think we just need a lot of work to do when it comes to sexuality and everything else, because just because a person is gay, it's not hurting nobody. That's straight. They're not magical. I agree with that. I mean, if again, to your point with your story, if I went out with a dude on Saturday, why couldn't it just be that?
Exactly.
Why couldn't it just be okay? Oh, the way you responded had me thinking like, oh, okay. I mean, you smiled. I was trying to think. Are you trying to be inappropriate, Sergeant? Are you trying to ask me out or something, Sergeant? You smirking and shit. What you smiling for? I didn't know you was smiling because it was like, oh, girl, we about to have some fun. I didn't know that. Dr. Nakumbe says, I salute you for having the courage to share your story. It will help more people than you realize. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm grateful, BoyCr8z'z, for you sharing your story. Like, shout out to Harold. I remember I was going to do a live with Harold, and just a live about homosexuals and stuff like that. And I didn't even expect that conversation to go the way that it did. Like, even Aries, shout out to Aries, like he shared some experience that I didn't even know about, because he tells me a lot of things that have happened to him, you know, and the fact that he was able to share an experience, like the fact that y'all are willing to be honest. And okay, so let me ask you this. When you were telling, was there any fear that you were kind of like dealing with in reference to like, how do I tell my story in a way that it would be affirmed? Yeah, in a way that it would be affirmed, because it's like when you tried to tell your actual story in the military, it seemed like it was just pressed over to the side. So now that you're on the platform where there are people who are validating your story, like what prevented you from telling your story up until now?
Well, it was pretty much, I wasn't in the right mental space. So I guess I've like, you know, I given it time enough to be like, you know what, I need to bring this out. I need to tell my story, you know, because I'm not the only person that's 9 times out of 10 going through this. So,
right.
And that, you know, bring awareness. It's more so to bring awareness. And I should have done it a long time ago, but right now it's the perfect time, you know, because it's happening now. So,
I already told you. Sometimes people have to be smart with certain things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, like even with men, black men, speaking about their experiences, any experience that can be interpreted as a black man being inferior, it's even something that other black men try to stay away from, because that's what I feel like my interpretation of queerphobia is, especially a black man, is why would you compromise being a man? Like, why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
Like, why? And then when you delve into the black aspect, I feel like this viewpoint of homosexuality is stemming from the whole buck breaking thing, where you're taking two consensual males who are attracted to each other having sex, and another man graping another person against their will. There's some sort of conflation there. So it makes it seem like we support that.
Right.
Like that's an act of the oppressor that has been ingrained in our minds. Girl, the oppressor, if he was trying to bust a nut, girl, he would have busted a nut that that he ain't want nobody to know, girl, he would bust a nut in private like he did them other bitches.
Yeah.
But he did that in an act again to, I guess, emasculate, which in their terms take away their power. Another man having power over you. That's why I even said on the live that even in ancient times, girl, captives of war were sexually abused, both male and female, by male soldiers. Like, that's an act of dominance. Yeah. It's not a fact of, oh, I'm trying to bust a nut and you're the only one here. It's a fact of, no, you know what I'm saying, to humiliate you. So the fact that you are a black queer man that's willing to share your story, that's commendable. Because a lot of men will be like, why you ain't doing nothing? Why you ain't fight? Why? Because I'm black and I'm queer, and I also understand the culture and the climate that I live in, and I don't want to make shit worse. Even when I'm trying to sit up here and not escalate anything, it's always escalating.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Exactly. And that was to show my professional side, you know, because we already know that as our black culture, we have an unprofessional side. We already know how that could look, you know. But, you know, a lot of times as black men, we are not shown, you know, we're not displayed to be, you know, in a professional light. You see what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why I didn't act in that way. And I acted, you know, in a more professional way and go through the proper chain of commands and do what it is that I needed to do. Because in my oppressors' minds, they probably were like, oh, okay. You know, let's, you know, they probably already had it mapped out to see whether I was going to do that or not. And that it didn't go the way that they thought it was going to go. I got the last word.
Of course it's going to be the case. I mean, because again, they first of all weren't even expecting you to even know how to go through the proper channels, because like you shared in the beginning of your story, you're very smart.
Yeah.
You're very intelligent when it comes to certain things. So it's kind of like I'm implementing that intelligence here. And again, I was professional. I did the profession. I did what was considered culturally. I did what was considered, you know, morally the right thing. I went through the proper channels of command, and that didn't change shit. If anything, it just confused me even more, because it's like, hello, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
So, okay, well, baby, let me tell you something. Deshaun says, do you know what the saddest part is? When I gave that article about 2 of those people getting arrested for doing gay stuff in Uganda, all those people agreed it should happen in America. Of course. When I was on TikTok and I was sharing that, there were plenty of people in my comments that was like, they need to adopt that here in America. Even our residential bald head brother in Christ over there in Uganda, girl, even wanted other, because he lives in Africa. So he's around neighboring nations like Uganda. So he wants that to be picked up. And I would be a fool to believe that cannot happen here. Because if it happened everywhere else in the world, and people say, well, it's happening over there. Yeah, it was a mindset that developed over there. And that same mindset is over here. It's just in an Americanized way. And that same bill that was enacted to criminally or criminalize queer people even up to the death penalty, that was a bill that was drafted in America. I don't be saying this shit to scare y'all, girl, because at this point, y'all just gonna have to deal with being scared, bitch. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just sharing the stuff that is scary. But now, this is when you embrace the fear. FEAR, false evidence appearing real, which means that as a queer person, you gonna have to listen, if you can't get a gun, girl, go get you a shotgun or something from the damn Walmart or something, or Sam's Club or something, or a pawn shop or something. If your shit is kind of dirty and you can't buy no guns, girl, get you a knife. Do what you have to do to protect yourself. Protect yourself. I would love to be wrong about all this. I would love for people to just crack my face and say, Bubz, you're the one that's overreacting. Bubz, you're the one that's crazy. Prove it to me. But the mentally ill one is always proving himself right. And y'all see it. It's like the last live I did with Taraji P. Henson talking about the treatment of black actors and actresses, in particular black women, and how they got such a low pay cut, and they coming in this bitch and they working twice as hard as they white peers and they ain't getting paid for it. And also to show you that Monique, you can also be a Monique. You can also be a Harriet Tubman, bitch. Not everybody that was under the oppressor had a horrible ending, bitch.
Yeah.
At this point, it's about the energy and the frequency and the thoughts. And a lot of the thoughts are becoming more toxic to where it's not even just affecting sexuality. It's affecting humanity as a whole.
Exactly.
And we could get to the point of dealing with that humanity issue, but we have to work through the layers of humanity. And we have to also be strategic and have those conversations with the right people. Some of these motherfuckers need to be in the comment section. Some of these people don't need to be talking on no damn microphone. No shade, especially if they're not qualified to speak on certain things. I don't get up here and speak about sports because I don't know nothing about sports. I'm gay in that way. But since I'm not up here talking about sports and shit, I don't need heterosexual people speaking about queer people, especially if they cannot prove it. And even when queer people prove their experiences, look at how many fucking hurdles they have to go through.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? We all about to be over some hurdles. I hope y'all niggas' knees ready. Hope the Megan knees is ready. What's up, Harold? What's going on, Bubz? Good evening to everybody. Sounds like an invite to a stream. Likelihood of physical violence. That would be a good stream that I would definitely come through, Dr. Nakumbe, especially if you facilitate that. I will show up on the platform if you facilitate that. Because, again, there are certain people on the platform that I'm not going to have a conversation with because they're not qualified. And I already told them the only way to qualify with having a conversation with me about queerness on your platform where you get to control this shit is when you work out your mental and emotional awareness and perception and perspective and to evolve in that in the realms of queerness. And I ain't see shit since. So they ain't going to talk to me. But as far as Dr. Nakumbe facilitating it or possibly having it on his platform, I'm down with that. I'm down with that, but we need to talk about that because when we speak about this physical violence, let's be real. Who is perpetuating more of the physical violence statistically? Because we talk about numbers and stats. Okay, well, let's play the game. Who's whooping more ass, men or women?
Man.
Okay. What about these stats? Y'all say that women is weak as hell, that women can't fight men, that women are unable to protect themselves, that they are the damsel in distress that needs protection from you at all times. So, of course, the likelihood of physical violence is going to be men.
Yeah.
But that would be a dope ass live. What I don't understand is why can't people just be real and not date people that's in monogamy? What? Probably when you're like, where'd that come from? What? Okay, let me see. Now, bro, you got to talk about this trans woman that's an activist, that is black, that's in Philadelphia. The conservatives are going to eat this up and use it against the trans community. Oh, yeah, I heard about that. One of the trans activists, I guess, has been, what is it? I don't know if it was convicted or whatever the case may be of sexual abuse against minors. So, and I mean, if that is what that person has done, call them out. Call them out. Yeah. And like I said, if you want to play the game about who's abusing the children, let's play the game.
Yeah.
But the issue is that for a lot of, to Deshaun's point, a lot of conservatives or people who are anti-queer are going to take that one incident and they're going to make a broad generalization over the queer community. That's exactly how that bill over in Uganda got enacted. It took one person making an experience about it being some abuse against children, that one thing to validate it, to go ahead and validate the darkness in people's minds to where they will run with it and put it over the queer community. And now queer people are collateral to that. And if people did their research, like I said, especially a lot of the people who grew up during the 60s and 70s and 80s and shit, who lived this, What do you think happened during the 60s and 70s with the civil rights movement? It wasn't just black, it was queer, it was women, it was all of that. And look at what happened in reference to the consequences of each of those oppressed groups of people. Black people got fucked up with the crack epidemic.
Yeah.
Gay people got fucked up with AIDS. Women were talked about. What do you think is going to happen? There is going to be some, and history unfortunately always repeats itself. That's why I try to have these conversations that are out the box so we can get the fuck up out the box. But a lot of people are comfortable in the box. Okay, girl, well, when it's time to throw dirt on top of the box and put it in the earth 6 feet under, I want you to remember that. And that's coming for everybody. Okay, let's see. Harold said, listening to that, I just don't know if we'll ever see the day where black hetero men and black gay men will be able to sit and have deep, productive conversations and stand in solidarity. I don't know. And I can understand that. There are a lot of people who are black right now who feel like, girl, blackness is done. It's fucked up. It's done. But when we get to these type of points where we feel like, I don't know, that's actually a good place to be, because now we have the choice to figure out how to do it. That's the point. We're supposed to learn from history. A lot of the men on the platform over there are elders, and I do respect my elders when they're worthy of respect. Okay? So there is something that we do need to learn from the past generation so we don't make the same mistakes they did, or we evolve and become better. But there has to be some way for us to connect with each other. And I think one way that we can grow in those conversations is that for the black heterosexual men who are comfortable and secure in who they are, queer people is going to have to also invite them to their platforms and vice versa. Instead of having the arguments and the debates that go no fucking where, I think we need to change the narrative and really give roses to people like Consciously, give roses to people like Dr. Odie, give roses to people like Dr. Nakumbe, like actually support them, actually connect with them, actually bridge the gap with those people, as opposed to going into other places and having the fights. And the reason why I go into the lion's den or the wolf's den is because there are some wolves over there that understand what's going on. And I appreciate those inquisitive or curious wolves that are trying to say, because even when we look at nature with animals now, girl, it be lions and tigers and bear, oh my, together, living in harmony. We are seeing nature even glitch in the system as far as what we thought it was and what it really is. So even though we're at this point now, I feel like we can grow in that solidarity, and it's possible. It's possible. There are black heterosexual men that fuck with gay niggas, and we need to affirm them, and we need to uplift them, and we need to make them viral to let other black men know, hey, there are gay men out here who also don't want you, girl. There are gay men that have standards, girl. Just because you are a man does not mean that we want you. I'm 5'2". It's a lot of motherfuckers that overlook me, and there's some niggas who look at me like I'm magically delicious. It's gonna be the right one. But I believe it's possible. But I can understand Harold, especially what where you're coming from. Dr. Nakumbe says to Sean, something to consider. How much really needs to be done of you have the right people doing or talking about it. What's going on, Jerson? Deshaun, if there's a panel or convo about lies, dating, and how to talk about reality such as mental health, addiction, and or dating preferences, I'd be open to be part of that conversation. Most definitely. Dr. Nakumbe held me accountable. He said, Bubz, you over here trying to have conversations with them. What about our conversation? I'm like, you right. So we're going to work on some things, because I even sent the video to Dr. Nakumbe that I wanted him to give his thoughts on about the 9-year-old rapper who is becoming viral, who is literally pushing the culture of death and destruction, not just from adults and teenagers, but now to young boys. And that's objectively happening. Right? So I want to work on a live with him. I low-key thought the live that he did a few days ago, I thought he was going to talk about that, because I saw rappers on the thumbnail. I was like, oh, girl, we about to have that conversation? I'm going to watch. I had my weed and shit. I was ready, girl, but it wasn't that conversation. But I would love for Dr. Nakumbe to do a live and to ask those black men over there how to deal with that aspect. Because whether we believe it or not, or want to believe it or not, it's a lot more ratchet-ass, trap-ass niggas than there are gay boys. At least in the culture. I believe that. Let's see. Harold. Shared spaces happens daily. I'd ask, which convo would you want to have, and what is the bottom line? What needs to be said? What is the goal? What is wanted desired outcome? Without that part, convos become circular and meaningless. You're absolutely right, which is why, like, again, there has to be certain people to have those conversations. Let's see. He said, "Oh, Dr. was on my comments." Let's see. Insights and perspectives, greetings and much respect. I would like to see a productive convo with black cishet men and queer black men and why they seemingly view us as subhuman. That would be a good live, because even in the lives, and you can jump in anytime, Boy Crazy, if you ever feel, compelled to or whatever.
Okay.
But even after the first time I was on the platform, I sent messages. I deleted them. I got rid of them because I thought we was done. So I was like, "Fuck it, girl. I don't need this shit no more." But some people who follow me on Instagram and my closed stories, they remember seeing it because they responded to it like, "Oh, girl." But after the first conversation, I was trying to be the one that was consistent. Like, okay, let's continue this. So I reached out to him and I told him, "Hey, we should do a live." I told him the people that I would like to do a live with. I ain't hear nothing till months later. So the second time we had the conversation, I told him, "Okay, I would like it to be more productive. You're not going to invite anybody that's queer over there with you?" "No, because I want to be the only queer person talking because I know what I'm talking about. And I don't mind going against how many other people." But I also put in the DM that there were particular people that I wanted to have a conversation with because they could also give pushback, but they're willing to listen and be honest and be open, which that emotional awareness and attention and intellect is going to be needed. And it was only 3 people on that platform, and Dr. Nakumbe was one of them. And Dr. Nakumbe brought up stats and facts and statistics, and then they challenged his findings and the clinical perspective that y'all thought was going to benefit y'all. So again, like, I did what I had to do to try to make the conversation productive. They wanted to have it in a safe way, in a way that they understand. Because they know that if they were to have the real conversation, it would be some sort of reconciliation that would have to happen. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of those people over there have homophobic viewpoints, definitely express their homophobic viewpoints in their childhood. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you those men who are very homophobic were the same men, girl, that were picking on gay boys when they were younger, calling them fags, whooping their ass. I can guarantee you that, because those same people grow up to be those same homophobic adults that try to teach that same thing to their children.
Yeah, pathology. Yeah.
The pathology of it all.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we're going to have these conversations, they need to be in a space or be conducted by individuals who are objective. And like I said, I nominate Dr. Nakumbe. And when that day come, girl, I'm gonna have to make sure I DoorDash a few extra days, girl, to give me a little extra money, because we're gonna have to cash app him for his time and his suffering. Okay, trying to regulate that. But I mean, those conversations can happen. They just need to happen with the right people. Duran Bernard said something that was so profound there, and my purpose of being on the platform again was to establish queerphobia, which they did that without me breaking a sweat. But there's no point in arguing with a person who already has their mind made up. I'm not about to argue with you about some shit that you have your mind made up on. You got to deal with the facts. That's your point now. I just brought the information. So, let's see. Saucy Santana had to sit down with straight men on BET. He did?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, y'all might get another live tonight. Shit, hold on. Send that to me, Deshaun. Because I'm going to listen. I might come back. Let's see. Hood culture and degeneracy is glorified in our community. Yeah, it is. And it's not just glorified just by the hood niggas. It's a bunch of people who are millionaires, multi-millionaires, who also subscribe to the hood culture and degeneracy. The degeneracy is basically, I'm not enough and I need shit outside of me to validate me instead of me validating my goddamn self, because I'm the only motherfucker that came in this bitch. I'm the only one that's gonna lead this hoe. I need to love me. And the society we live in and the culture we live in does not want you to do that. They want you to be completely, solely exclusively dependent to them, which is why they're able to hold the keys to everybody's motherfucking kingdom, which is why kingdoms are now falling, because new ones are being put in place. So a lot of people who celebrate death and destruction in those type of ways, girl, I want you to understand the universe said, girl, this is what you wanted. In the actor from BET, that's from Sister, said that we got a respect women and put love to the LGBT, and already in the comments there's men up there that disagree with it. Yes, because according to a lot of them, they're the reasons why this gay shit happening. It's black women's fault that the queers is out. It's black women's fault that is men out here with beards with makeup on. It's women's fault that it's their fault. It's their fault. It's their fault. The women who, and it's crazy because the feminine energy, the queer energy, the women's energy is the one that has been the glue to a lot of black men. A lot of black men may not love bitches and hoes, but they love their damn mama. She's a black woman, is she not? Okay, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm just subjecting you to all this stuff. Boy, crazy. You probably like,
No.
Lord.
No. It's fine. No, but to your point of what you said,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn how to put on makeup from a woman.
Oh,
You know?
wow.
I didn't learn, like, I was on YouTube and I actually had like black queer men that were actually doing it. Like Star Milan, he was the first person that I ever saw do that. And to my surprise, like he's I guess like an in-betweener, I guess I would consider him. But because he looks more masculine, you see what I'm saying? He's muscular, he's toned. You know, and he doesn't, like, even if he does have his face beat, it doesn't look feminine to me. You know, so that was one of the first people that I've ever seen. So I never, like, for somebody to say, oh, well, it's a black woman that's doing this. No, it's not. You know, so that was my first time ever seeing a man ever being able to do that. I didn't think that was even possible.
Right, especially when we still had like what would be considered culturally masculine, like highlights, like having a strong ass hairline and having a beard in the body, but just the face is just done up like whoa.
Exactly,
so it's
and it didn't even look feminine at all.
It didn't.
So
it just looked.
It blew my mind. You know.
And I mean, even with queer men in makeup, like even in the realm of religion and in gospel, like I remember I was watching, because even though I don't subscribe to organized religion, I still have a love for like gospel music. Like I do. I love Leandria Johnson's, the Clark Sisters. I love it. I have a lot of gospel music in my playlist. But when the Clark Sisters was doing their tour with Kurt Franklin, you know, and I think they came to Detroit or whatever, there is a makeup artist that does both Karen Clark Shears and Kiera Shears makeup, and it's a gay man, girl. That when I used to go to this club called the Woodward here in Detroit, girl, before it got burnt down, unfortunately, it was a ratchet ass black gay bar, but it was like iconic in the black gay community, girl. He was there. So again, it's like y'all, girl, all I'm gonna say is this: going forward, if y'all don't smoke, I suggest y'all start. If y'all want to drink, that's fine. I don't really drink. Weed is more my forte. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, y'all better smoke something, because these conversations are going to start to go deeper now, whether you want them to or not. That's why it's going to be around you. Just like when that dude had that outburst in there, in your military story, as far as, I don't give a fuck about trans. I don't care about trans. I don't want a trans around me. It's kind of like, you gonna have to find a way to deal with that, pimping, because that's the reality of it. Just like how queer people had to understand and accept that we still live in a world that is going to be more hetero than queer. We have to accept it. So since we're accepting harsh truths here, let's all accept the harsh truths. But see, they don't want to do the all part. If y'all was doing the all part, I don't have no problem with it. If it's low or high vibrational, if it's equal, I don't give a fuck, because it's equal now. But there is this fear of equality, because if we're equal, I'm no longer exclusive. I'm no longer special. bitch, you are unique and special in your own right as far as your own perception. You with you 24/7, 365. That's unique and that's your specialty. But as far as collectively with everybody else, bitch, you're not special. You're a human being who will pass away like everybody else. Bitch, it's better to just learn to accept that and live the best life you can, girl, as opposed to trying to stop other people from living their life so that you can feel comfortable about yourself.
Exactly.
And to be honest, that's on both sides, because there are some people, I ain't gonna hold you, that are queer that have not healed, and they're using their pain and their oppression against other people to bully them, and they end up in powers of position. And those individuals need to be checked as well. But again, let's check it across the board. Girl. So that's a good start to BT Actors to give them a breather in the LGBT, which is good. But I hope that it continues. Like, a lot of people now want to be LGBT friendly because it's profitable. They can make money off of it. We're going to sit up here and say that we care about queer people, girl. When June come, baby, it's just pride everywhere. Just rainbow. All right. The rainbow don't even shine no damn more because it's everywhere else. Everybody else wearing the rainbow. The rainbow ain't even got to show up no more because it's so much. But as soon as the clock strikes 12 on July 1st, all that shit goes in the 99-cent bin. And if they really care, why are these organizations not out here trying to help use their money and their resources to raise awareness about all of the hate crimes that's happening, especially to trans women of color? There's a trans house that follows me called Black Texas Trans House or something. They ended up getting kicked out of where they're at, and they were an up and coming homeless shelter for trans women. Lost funding and everything. Like, shit is getting crazy.
Were they based in Texas, you said?
I think so. I don't know much about it. This is what I know, so I'm just letting you know. I'll say ignorantly speaking, shall I say. Ignorantly speaking, but that happened to them. So a lot of trans women are under attack right now, and a lot of these laws are trans. So if there's anybody who's going to feel the brunt of it worse than anybody in the queer community, it's going to be them. But once they're done with them, they're going to just work their way backwards through the LGBTQIAHGTBBTBLT DVD community. And at this fucking point, I'm okay with adding the S to it, girl. Y'all want to be a part of the community, girl? We could put the S in there, LGBTQIAS. Let's do that. I'm all about equality. But do y'all want it? But it's going to take a lot of time because my family is very homophobic. And already when it came to the Macy's commercial with two men kissing, oh my God, that's nasty. That's what they be saying. Mm-hmm. I remember I used to work at K&G, and it was this lady, her name is Champagne, may she rest in peace, who was very homophobic, but she was nice to me, but I don't think she knew I was gay. She probably had an inkling, but she probably didn't care about that with me because of my energy. But I remember I was in the break room, and they were doing a recap of the Grammys at this time, and I think there was a song that was going on, or like a performance, and people were getting married at the performance at the same time, all types of people, gay, straight, or whatever. But it was two men who started kissing each other like you would kiss your wife or your partner on your wedding day. And the way her face scrunched up, oh my God, it's so ooh, turn it off. I'm just kind of like, girl, like, didn't really take all that.
Yeah, it don't take all that. I mean,
but she wasn't getting no dick, so that makes sense. May she rest in power. But she wasn't getting no dick. So again, even with some black women, it's the fact of not only do we have to compete with other black women and these ratchet assholes that will suck the dick up until it hiccup for a fee, the sexy reds, not only do we have to deal with exotic looking bitches, not only do we have to deal with white bitches, but now we got to deal with gay men and trans bitches too. Yeah. Girl, welcome to life.
Yeah.
Welcome to life.
Yep. And then what I don't like, or what I disagree with, I guess I can say,
go ahead.
Is the fact that people say, oh, I love diversity, I'm all for diversity. But then you turn around and you do something like that. Mm-hmm. That tells me that you're not, inclusive. You're not trying to be inclusive. You're not trying to have, that mindset. And it's not about liking. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
They think, in order for me to be inclusive, I have to like somebody. No, you do not. You don't.
That part. But you would respect me.
Exactly. Right. Respect. Yeah.
That's all it is.
But
Respect.
right,
You know what
you don't have
respect.
to.
But
That's
you know
not a
what
requirement.
But you know what respect would have looked like in your situation with your story. Again, back to your section chief.
Right.
Hey, how was your weekend? Oh, it was good. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you go by yourself or you go with a friend. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not trying to get in your business or whatever, but was it a dude? Was it a female?
Right.
Oh, it was a dude? Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. You had fun? Man, that's all that matters. As long as you have fun, okay, and go right back to the shit, girl. I'm not asking you, girl, who the top, who the bottom is, girl. Was it some dick sucking, girl?
Yeah,
Was it some
'cause
skeeting and swallowing and ski eating, girl? He didn't ask for all of that. You don't have to know about the gay thing. All I'm saying is, if I'm queer, don't generalize me. Don't put no
Exactly.
fucking wigs in there and think that I want to be a woman. Don't sit up here and card fag and shit. Don't come up here and fuck with my shit. That's what it means by respecting me. Means that you leave me alone, I leave you alone. Or if we can, let's just be cordial. You ain't got. How did somebody say we don't have to go along to get along?
Exactly.
But I would think that if this is about the military and about soldiers and we're being one unit, you would have to find a way to make this shit work.
Exactly.
Like, how many motherfuckers have gotten together and they didn't like each other at first, but then went through shit together and then built camaraderie? That's how it should be.
Exactly.
But how can that? Well, that's why I say, bitch, and them hoes start fucking with you. Fuck with them back at this point, girl. Like,
yeah, I know.
Make it very transactional. If you want to do this, I'm gonna do this. This how the game work, and there is no exception.
Yeah, but the thing about me is, once I start, I'm not finishing. I'm telling you, like, it's gonna go downhill from there. You know what I'm saying? And I don't need that. So that's why I stay professional. I tap into my, my Martin Luther King, instead of my Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying?
At this point, we need to blend both of those motherfuckers together, girl. There's a time to be Martin. There's a time to be Malcolm. Okay, and I believe it's possible. I feel like you should be Martin in reference to being progressive and humanity, in reference to education and all that stuff. I feel like you should be Malcolm when it comes down to self-defense.
Yes.
Defending of self. Because like I said, you can say whatever you want to say to BubzDaGawd. I don't give a damn because I have the choice on whether it bothers me or not. And on top of that, I have dark gallows humor. And I love Bigo even more now because of that shit, even though it's ratchet, but I survived hell, so a part of it stained my soul, girl. I'm just gonna like the shit. Yeah. But we can go there too if we have to, but that's the last resort. And because of the perception of masculinity through a toxic lens, that's never the last resort. That's the first resort. That's the only resort. It's the resort of shoot first, ask questions later. So when it come down to words, you're going to have to do a lot more to get me upset. But when you overstep the boundary from verbal to physical, that's when it becomes serious. Mm-hmm. And all that gay shit going to go out the window. You're going to be tripping that this nigga was gay. Even when I was on the platform, them niggas couldn't even believe that I was gay. I sat up here and said that some of the women on the platform was fine. And if I was straight, I would go after them. And it had them confused. Yeah. Even Trey said, wait a minute, I don't even believe that Bubz is gay. Yeah. I can't believe Bubz is gay. See, they thought that I was going to come up there, growl. And I embrace some of my feminine energy. I say girl, I say bitch. It's a part of the culture. I don't really want to be a female or a woman. Right. It's a part of the culture. But from my aesthetic and the way that I conduct myself, they were probably like, wait a minute, this nigga gay? And they probably felt like I was trolling them. If I was trolling them, baby, I would have made it a hell of a show. If I'm gonna troll, bitch, I'm gonna give y'all. See, they don't know about BubzDaGawd. They don't know about my work. Like you said when you was listening to the reviews of the Bad Boys Club and how ratchet and shady and just how crazy I can get with my mind. I was just listening to some of that shit a few days ago. I didn't give them that. I did what you did. I showed up in a professional way. Even when you were saying with your different section leaders and chiefs that there were some times where y'all did have disagreements. Yeah. Y'all did argue. It wasn't always just, sir, yes, sir. It was like, no, sir, I feel some type of way about this. You know what I mean? So you're going to have that type of pushback, which that's okay if it's really something that's productive. But
right.
for a lot of the conversations over there about queerness is never productive. It just feels like it's a way to just prove to everybody that these people are mentally ill and they're the reason why the economy's fucked up and they're the reason why the children is fucked up, and it's them and it's them and it's them and it's them and it's them. Meanwhile, we didn't fucking have the kids because 2 men and 2 women can't have children, right? So that's what I'm saying. If we were to play the equality game, a lot of people are going to gag, and it's not going to be the gays. Because the gays used to gagging on dick. It's going to be some of y'all. It's about to be some of y'all first time. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? But I think that's it for the comments. And I didn't even know it was going to be this long. But Boy Crazy, I thank you so much for taking the time out, you know, of your schedule to be able to have this conversation. This platform is always open to you. So if you ever feel compelled to want to speak on something and you want me to drop the link, let me know. I hope that you come up a lot more. And I do want other queer people to come up more as well, because again, I'm just being the change that I want to see, and there are other people who see it as well. So, and I even tell Deshaun all the time, like, bro, like, Deshaun, the stuff he sends me and just his passion that he has for the truth in reference to queerness, it's like, also use your platform. It ain't got to just be BubzDaGawd. Like, we can still utilize it because, you know, my platform is growing, but you also have a voice as well. You might bring a different perspective that might enhance mine. You know what I mean? So the only way that will ever happen is if we show up. And even though when it comes down to these type of commentaries, when I'm speaking real shit, I don't really get a lot of views. It's mostly the ratchet shit. But I appreciate you, Boy Crazy, for taking the time out to listen to my commentary, whether it's live, whether it's replay, to leave your thoughts. And again, being open enough to trust me with you sharing your story on this platform, knowing that you will be heard, you will be validated, and not just from me, but from other people and in the comment section. So, do you have any lasting words that you'd like to share with everybody before we wrap this up?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for lending ear. I appreciate it. Thank everybody for the views, for BubzDaGawd, his channel. Pray to God that it grows.
Yes,
gets growing. Bigger and bigger and bigger and multiply. But other than that, I appreciate the opportunity that you gave me. And if I have anything else, I would definitely be better prepared. I'll make sure that I'll be, more organized a little bit more, and pull a lot more facts. You know,
but that's fine. That's fine. This was just you sharing your story. So now that you shared your story, if you have to come back, now you know what you need to do in order to, you know what I'm saying, to just help just validate it. Because again, like, there are going to be people who are not going to believe you, who are going to say you're lying. That comes with the territory. But at least giving you the opportunity to speak your side, because there's always 3 sides to everything. There is side A, side B, and then there's the side of objective truth. So you're just sharing your side, and we appreciate you for doing that. Yes,
I appreciate it. Yes. Everybody, happy holidays.
Yes.
And I'm signing out.
Again, thank you so much. I'll be talking to you soon.
All right, you as well. Thank you.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, girl, that was Boy Crazy sharing their story. Okay. That was a good live. I wasn't expecting it to be this long, but again, people have stories, and I have weed and time, okay? My bills are paid, girl. I pay my bills. My bills are paid, so I'm good, you know what I'm saying? But please make sure y'all like the video, okay? Because it helps this channel to grow in the algorithms, okay? This channel is slowly but surely growing, okay? I sacrificed my height. I'm 5'2". This channel gonna grow, goddamn it, okay? If you like the vibe over here on BubzDaGawd, please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of my sporadic ass lives and videos and just content creation. Okay, I'm going to ask you to please share my content. If there is anything in this live that has stuck with you or resonated with you, I ask that you please screen record it and put it on your own social media platforms. Put them in spaces where you know these conversations need to be had, okay? And tag me in them as well so we can continue these conversations, not just on BubzDaGawd, but just in other areas as well, because humanity needs help. And at this point, bitch, she needs help from the gate, so we got to do our part Okay, and if you feel compelled, you can definitely hit that Cash App, which is at the bottom of the screen, which is $BubzDaGawd. Everything is BubzDaGawd. Okay, shout out to Deshaun being in the building. Shout out to Queen Amber being in the building. Shout out to Harold being in the building. Shout out to Dr. Nakumbe. It's always good to have the doc in the building. Shout out to Jerson. Okay, King Jerson. Let's see. I think we had Queen Spicy. Where's she at? Queen Spicy. Yeah. We had Queen Stevie in the building. Okay. And Queen Spicy. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the people in the bushes and have their ears to the ground. What are y'all thoughts? Let us know. Okay. And I appreciate y'all. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday season, girl. Christmas is a few days away. All right, so I hope that everything goes well with you all. And until next time, everybody, peace. BubzDaGawd is signing out.
Love never dies, just choose to be born.